Our Mossy Creek Maniacs bouncing up and down to our left. Carson-Newman has sent Ray Arterbridge and Marcus Williams deep to receive this kick from McLean Robertson, who has it teed up along the right hashes at the 35-yard line. Robertson points to each sideline, garbed in all white with a blue dome, strides forward, right toe to leather, and we are underway here from Mossy Creek. The kickoff sends Ray Arterbridge deep into the right corner of his own end zone, and he lets it bounce for a touchback. And Carson-Newman will start out with 1st and 10 from its own 25-yard line.
Let's see how Carson-Newman's offense comes out here today against this Wingate defense. We talked about it. They've been excellent through the first 2 games of the season. Has Carson-Newman made some adjustments? We'll see how the running back rotation works out throughout the game as well. They can solidly go 4 deep.
Eagles start with Antonio Wimbush and Drake McCowan back there. Derek Evans is the quarterback, and the wideouts, Romaine Kelly and Quentin Phillips. All equidistant between the hashes on 1st and 10. 4-man front for the Bulldogs. Evans takes, straight drop, comes out throwing, right side, complete to Quentin Phillips up at the 30-yard line. Stiff arms his defender, Matthew Ellis White, up along the left sideline and forced out of bounds up at the 34-yard line. A gain of 9, 2nd and 1.
Well, when you play conference teams, you want to try to buck trends, and you want to try to come out early in the game and do something that isn't on the play card frequently, and the Eagles go to the hitch early.
2nd and 1, playbook opened up for the Eagles. Same look. Evans takes, fakes the dive, late pitch right to Wimbush, hit in the backfield and drilled for a loss. Knocked backward by Cameron Madison back to the 31-yard line. A loss of 3, well read by Wingate.
Yeah, pretty easily handled. They had the dive covered up. They had Evans covered up on the option look. Very good defensive look there. A couple missed blocks as well up front by the Eagle offense.
So 3rd and 4 for Carson-Newman from the right hash at its own 31-yard line. Kelly out to the short side right. Phillips the lone man to the wide side left. McCarriv the tight end to the left of the line with running backs Wimbush left and McCowan right in a split backfield. Evans takes an all blue. Speed option left and a pitch to McCowan. He's caught in the backfield and dropped for a loss yet again by Joe Kelly. So the Eagles had 9 yards on the first play from scrimmage, but then -3 and now -5 back to the 26-yard line. Eagles go 3 and out for the first time in a week.
Well, Trevor McCarriv misses the block on the outside. That's his man to try to get that alley runner, and if he takes care of business against Kelly, McCowan has plenty of green grass in front of him, an easy first down conversion, but a missed block, and the Eagles' offense goes 3 and out on the first possession.
So Craig Koenig will punt it away to Adam Riley. No B.J. Muckelveen back there. He was shaken up. Snap back to Koenig. Gets it off with his left foot, hangs it high. It sticks up in the breeze. Bounces at the 47-yard line, takes a Carson-Newman hop inside the 45, and rolls between the hashes down to the 40-yard line. And that is where the ball rests. Excellent field position for the Bulldogs. That's what the Eagles didn't need to allow to happen. Wingate has a 60-yard field in front of it.
Yeah, you didn't want that. Just a 35-yard punt, and not an ideal start for Carson-Newman, but the strong suit of this team, and it has been time and time again over the last 10-plus games, and really the Mike Turner era as the head coach, the defense gets to come on the field.
1st and 10 Bulldogs toward the left hash at their own 40-yard line. Wingate in all white with blue domes moving left to right. Crocker in the gun with McNeil off of his left hip. Trips go to the wide side right, low man short side left. Crocker back to pass, 4-man rush, steps up, he'll run. Crocker blasted as he crosses the line of scrimmage, and Jason Cook Calhoun makes him pay for 3 hard-earned yards up to the 43 in the boundary left side. 2nd and 7.
Looked like a couple routes to the right, the strong side of the formation where there are trips wide receivers that they were trying to get some stuff going deep. Never broke open, and just an easy QB scramble.
12:50 to play first quarter, no score. Wingate with 2nd and 7, left hash at its own 43. Hand off straight ahead, McNeil. He's stood up by Tamoris Coates. McNeil gets his legs under him and drives him forward up to the 48-yard line over the left hashes. Gain of 5. 2nd down and 2 to go to midfield for the Bulldogs with no score. 12:41 to play first quarter.
Yeah, Tamoris Coates comes in there, sticks the gap, but he gets pushed back. He kind of gets run backwards by the running back and just unable to fully, solidly put that to rest.
Third down and a long 2 to go for the Bulldogs. Left hash at their own 48-yard line. Trips to the wide side right. Snap back to Crocker. Rolls the pocket right. Looking to throw. Throws back across his body. Complete to Brian Mitchell in Carson-Newman territory at the 40 over the numbers. He heads straight forward down to the 35 where he's wrapped up by Darius Williams and Mario Mezier. A tote of 17 through the air and a first down for the Bulldogs.
Good read there by the quarterback, Crockett, as he was able to get to the outside. And Mario Mezier was trying to guard 2 guys and just couldn't get the climber out beneath him.
First and 10 Bulldogs, right hash at the Eagle 35. No score, nearly 3 minutes in. Bulldogs, handoff straight ahead to Dom McNeil, and he is way late in the backfield. Eagles read it well, drop him for a loss of 2, back to the 37-yard line. Jordan Price, the first man there to go along with Alonzo Houston. Second and 12 for the Bulldogs.
Wingate runs that fly motion across the formation, fake the handoff to the wide receiver, and hand it back up the middle. They're hoping that the linebacker is unblocked and commits to the motion in that situation.
Second and 12 Bulldogs, right hash at the Eagle 37-yard line. Crocker out of the pistol, throws the quick hitter over the middle of the field. That's incomplete for J.T. Stokes on the slant. Jaquan Smith and Darius Williams were in the neighborhood, and somebody popped him late. I think Jaquan Smith with a wallop after the play had been significantly blown dead, a hanky out.
Well, Darius Williams was the safety on the back end of that. He came in, got a nice push. I don't think that that's a penalty, and that's something that we've seen across all levels of football, that they're really trying to protect the receivers and ball carriers. And to me, that's just simple football. That is just a play over the middle. You get a little bit of a nudge.
I'll check with Todd Boyd.
After the play is over, personal foul, late hit, number 7 of the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So Darius Williams called for the personal foul, and the Bulldogs march forward 15 yards. 11:23 to play in the first quarter. No score, but Wingate on the move after the Eagles went 3 and out on their opening possession. They've got it first and 10 from the Carson-Newman 22. Wingate has had success of late in Berktar Stadium. Bulldogs have won 3 of their last 4 trips here. Lone loss in 2014 over the last decade. First and 10 Wingate, right hash at the Eagle 22. Crocker in the gun, McNeil to his left, trips to the wide side left with a tight end that direction as well. Eagles with 4 down linemen. And Coates off to the right side, but before this play gets rolling, a whistle, and Wingate burns a timeout.
Timeout. Wingate University.
So we'll step aside for a break as well. 11:23 to play in the first quarter. Eagles and Wingate deadlocked in a scoreless tie, but the Bulldogs knocking on the door of the red zone. We're back after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
Hello, my name is Phil Jones. I'm the senior pastor at First Baptist Powell. You know, in life, there are 2 approaches. First approach says that God exists for me. He exists to make me happy. The second approach says that I exist for God. I exist to glorify Him. And it's in that second approach that we find genuine, true joy. That's the approach we take at First Baptist Powell. Join us this Sunday at 10:30. We look forward to seeing you.
Love your drive in any season with Michelin tires and experience a confidence-inspiring combination of luxury and performance. Now you can welcome every drive with a little extra savings. Between now and September 20th, get a $70 reward card after submission with a purchase of 4 new Michelin passenger or light truck tires. At Fleet Tire on Woodland Avenue in Knoxville, your home for Michelin tires. Fleet Tire, my tire dealer for all of 20 years. See michelinman.com/promo for details. Offer expires 9/20/18. Void where prohibited.
All right, we welcome you back to Berktar Stadium, where Carson-Newman and Wingate are locked in a scoreless tie with 11:23 to play in the first quarter. But Wingate on the march. Bulldogs have it first and 10 after a unsportsmanlike foul penalty on Darius Williams from the right hash at the Eagle 22. Michael Watrang, field position. That's what we talked about in the pregame show. So far, bearing out in favor of Wingate.
Yeah, and to that penalty, Darius Williams did not need to make that contact. It was a couple steps after the fact, And when you already are in that position with great field position for the other team, you cannot aid that with a penalty, and that's been a never-ending story across football.
No score, 11:23 to play in the first quarter. Crocker in the pistol, McNeil behind him, 2 wide to the left. Crocker back to pass, airs it out to the right side for Stokes. That's incomplete. Stokes went out of bounds. The hat flies off the official's head. There's a flag on the play. I think somebody came off sides from Carson-Newman, so it was a free play.
Well, you're going to get that, and then you're going to get pass interference. Farrell was absolutely abusing the intended target in Stokes, and so they're going to decline the offsides penalty and then take the pass interference that will move them half the distance to the goal.
We'll check with Todd Boyd. Normally the hat off means the receiver went out of bounds, but you're right, that official had already thrown his flag, so he went to the back pocket, so to speak, in this case the top of his head, for the pass interference, presumably. 11:18 to play first quarter, no score. We await Todd Boyd and the official ruling.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offsides, defense number 27, that penalty will be declined. Pass interference on the defense, number 2, that penalty will be accepted. 15-yard penalty, first down.
These teams came into this game as 2 of the most penalized in the country. Eagles bottom 10 in terms of the number of penalties. Wingate, one of the most penalized in terms of yardage assessed. Bulldogs are bottom 5 in that regard, but so far it's the Eagles who have handed Wingate 30 free yards this possession, and the Bulldogs have it first and goal from the 7-yard line.
And that came after just a 35-yard punt, so a normally disciplined Carson-Newman side has been anything but that through the first 4 minutes.
11:18 to play in the first quarter, no score between the Eagles and Wingate. Wingate clad in all white, moving left to right. Crocker in the gun, McNeil to his left, 2 wide to the left, 2 tight ends in the formation. Handoff straight ahead, McNeil. McNeil hit at the 5 and wrenched down by Coates running between the hashes, strung out toward the left hashes, where he's finally halted, but he'll get forward progress down to the 3-yard line. It's a 4-yard gain. Coates again the man that wraps him up, but second and goal for the Bulldogs.
Carson-Newman trying to hold stiff. This is Wingate's first possession of the game, and Eagles defensively trying to get that big boy unit out there as Wingate goes to the jumbo package.
I formation for the Bulldogs. A fullback in the game is McRaney. McNeil dots the I and takes the handoff, powering his way to the right side of the line. He stood up between the hashes at the 1 and held out of the end zone by Montel Presley. Presley the first man into the fray there, but aided by Antonio Henderson and Javon Barnes as well. Third and goal, Wingate from the 1-yard line. And what a massive stand this would be for this Eagle defense if they can keep the Bulldogs out of the end zone. Carson-Newman's been pretty good at that. Opponents have scored just 4 touchdowns in 10 drips. Third down, goal to go from the 1 for Crocker and company. Weak side I, handoff straight ahead, McNeil. He jumps into the air, ball's free along the right side of the end zone and picked up by an Eagle. Desmond Farrell off the races along the left sideline. Farrell weaving his way back across midfield. Farrell splitting the hashes to the 30 and 20. Farrell is coasting with the ball held skyward into the end zone. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. A flag on the play, though.
It's going to be excessive celebration, and there might be 2 of them on Des Farrell, who was getting his Deion Sanders on with the high stepping. Eagles were very exuberant, but that is a massive play. The points will count, although this might be a very lengthy extra point.
Some sudden change for Carson-Newman. Dom McNeil powering his way into the end zone, held the ball out, gets stripped. Des Farrell, 100 yards the other way, if it stands.
The ruling on the field is a fumble, recovered by Carson-Newman. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 2 of the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. The touchdown is no good. It's first down, Carson-Newman.
So Desmond Farrell, thanks to the showboating, the touchdown wiped off the board. And Carson-Newman's crowd upset with that. But because it happened in the course of action, that's the ruling they're going to make. Dom McNeil leaping into the air. I believe it was Antonio Henderson who knocked it out of his palm at the goal line, and then Des Farrell picked it up, raced the other direction, But Eagles great field position. If Desmond Farrell doesn't showboat, though, it's 6.
Well, that's 3 penalties already on Carson-Newman's defense that have really affected this game. So far, not overly negatively. If Carson-Newman can score a touchdown, you can put all those behind you, but the Eagles really need to get their discipline going.
Wimbush and McCowan, the split backs behind Evans. Evans takes, dive to Wimbush. He's stood up at the line of scrimmage, and Wingate drags him backward. Gilmore, the first man there. No gain for Wimbush, back to the 38. Eagles not having a lot of luck against the interior of that Wingate line. 3 rushes for -8 yards now for the Eagles.
Yeah, Carson-Newman's offense really not looking all that solid at this point, and I think the passing game might need to start to play a little bit of a factor here for this Carson-Newman side. That was their only positive play so far.
9:12 to play, first quarter, no score. Eagles with it, 2nd and 10, right hash at the Bulldog 38. Evans under center, takes the snap, rolls the pocket left, looking to throw, airs it out left sideline. That's incomplete, over the top of Ed Aldridge's head, down at the 25-yard line. In coverage, Matthew Ellis White. 3rd down, 10 to go. Eagles offense struggling at the present juncture against the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they got nothing going right now. The passing game has no deception to it, which is what they need. And the run game right now doesn't have a whole lot of answers. And the offensive line not winning the battle up front.
8:57 to play in the first quarter. No score, and it's 3rd and 10 for Carson-Newman. From the right hash at the Bulldog 38-yard line. Eagles 0 for 1 on 3rd down so far. Evans takes, and it's a comeback draw to the left side for Wimbush. A stiff arm to the defender, Nick Vagnone, but to no avail. Wimbush goes down for a loss of 3, back to the 41. Play design was there. Wimbush just had to beat the guy, Vagnone, but couldn't do so with the stiff arm.
Well, that's Philip McDowell. You got to hold your block. If he holds his block, that potentially goes for a touchdown. It's really 1v1 in that scenario. Everybody for Wingate was on the opposite side of the hash marks, and Philip McDowell just doesn't hold his block long enough. Wimbush can't make a guy miss, and Carson-Newman should be up 7-0. Instead, it's scoreless.
Koenig on to punt for Carson-Newman. Leg into it. We'll send it toward Adam Riley, who signals for a fair catch and brings it in down at the 10-yard line over the numbers right side. 8:13 to play in the first quarter. No score. Eagles defense comes through. Desmond Farrell celebrates. That wipes a touchdown off the board, and the Eagles offense can't get anything going against the Bulldogs. 6 plays, -2 yards of total offense for the Eagles. Eagle fans, AEC is your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Service you can trust and value you can depend on. Powering Mossy Creek, where AEC, member-owned and service-driven. So at least the Eagles flip field position, but a delayed media timeout here. So we'll step aside for a break as well. 8:13 to play, first quarter. No score between the Eagles and Bulldogs. And we're back to Burke Tarr after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
At the Cade Insurance Agency, our focus is you. At Cade Insurance, we're your local agents, real, live members of the community, only 2 blocks from Carson-Newman. We understand the importance of having the proper coverages for your vehicle, whether it be taking a drive through the Smoky Mountains or just driving around listening to your Eagles play. Our team at Cade Insurance can help you get the best coverages with the best companies at competitive prices. Call 865-475-3391 for a quote today, or visit Cade Insurance Agency.
At InterDigital, we strive to be a leading provider of cutting-edge digital and marketing solutions. At InterDigital, we want to help our clients find success. Our team of technology gurus work together to ensure InterDigital continues to progress forward as technology advances. At InterDigital, we make technology work for you. Visit interdigital.com for IT support, web development, virtual tours, graphic design, internet marketing, mobile app, and film production services.
InterDigital, laser focused on your success.
All right, back at Burke Tarr Stadium, Adam Cavalier, Michael Watrang, happy to have you alongside. Our spotter today is Erica Lovingood, Taylor Scott, our in-booth audio engineer, Dave Claybo running the show back inside network control, and Leanda Carey is down on the sidelines. Michael Watrang, both a hopeful and frustrating opening in about 7 minutes, 6 minutes and 47 seconds to be exact, but a frustrating time for the Eagles so far.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, there is nothing to be happy about. They are at -2 yards of total offense, -11 rush yards right now. Outside of the first play of the game when they completed a 9-yard pass to Quentin Phillips, offense has been basically nothing. The penalties have been the negative issue for Carson-Newman so far in this game. 3 penalties, 30 yards already in this contest for Carson-Newman, and that's all from the defense. So the mistakes mounting, and one of the mistakes took 7 points off the board.
Let's check in with the third member of our crew. Head down to Leanda Carey.
Thanks, Adam. Even as Carson-Newman's sideline was still celebrating what they thought might be a touchdown, defensive coordinator Larry Slade, usually very even-tempered, calm, was livid. He said, "Get in here now." He said, "This is a good football team. This is stuff we've worked on. Let's give them something to play with. We can't do these stupid things. We've got to go in fired up." Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Leanda. Wingate on 1st and 10, hands off straight ahead to Dom McNeil. Dodges a would-be tackler at the line of scrimmage and scuttles his way up across the 15, between the hashes up to the 16-yard line. A 6-yard gain. Bring up 2nd down and 4 to go.
Houston was the one that missed the tackle initially, just kind of flew right by him. And this is one of those moments where Carson-Newman's defense has to hold true yet again. Field position has been flipped. Wingate in the shadows of its own field goal posts.
2nd down and 5 to go, call it, for Wingate from the 16-yard line. Crocker in the pistol. It's a draw straight ahead to McNeil. He stumbles as he crosses the line of scrimmage and falls forward straight ahead up to the 20-yard line. Was tripped up by Alonzo Houston. A gain of 4, 3rd and 1.
Wingate trying to use that running game right now, and they're being able to move the football a little bit with some delayed handoffs to McNeil, who has had a solid start to his season so far.
3rd down, a yard to go for the Bulldogs, trying to move quickly. Strong side eye for Wingate. McNeil dots it. Hand off to him straight ahead. Bounces it to the left side and skitters his way forward up to the 21-yard line, close to the sticks, where he's grabbed by Darius Williams. I would presume this is good enough for a 1st down, but they haven't moved the chains just yet. And now they say yes, 1st down. So 1st and 10 Wingate up to the 21-yard line. Eagles in all blue for this gray out. Blue tops, blue trousers, orange helmets with the iconic stripe. Sidecar to the right for Wingate. Shotgun formation with McNeil off of Crocker's right hip. 1st and 10 Bulldogs. Their own 21. Handoff McNeil. Nice shifty move in the backfield. Lowers his shoulder. Piles across the 25. He gets up to the 29-yard line before he's brought down by Jaquan Smith and Tamoris Coates. Gain of 8. 2nd and 2.
That front 5 for Wingate really doing a good job moving people. A great knockdown block by the left tackle, Austin May. Just blew up Ross Pryor, put him on the ground, and that opened up the hole.
6:08 to play 1st quarter. No score because Antonio Henderson and Des Farrell were able to cause a fumble at the goal line to wipe a Wingate touchdown off the board. 5 wide set for the Bulldogs on 2nd and 2 from their own 29. Crocker back to pass, slips it over the middle of the field. That's complete to Bledsoe for 1st down yardage in the flat left side up at the 31-yard line. Coates is able to string him down at the 33. It's still a 4-yard gain and a 1st down, though, for the Bulldogs.
Wingate committed to the run game and the quick passing game, not allowing Carson-Newman's front 4 to wreak any havoc in the backfield.
5:40 to play, 1st quarter. No score between the Eagles and Bulldogs. 5 wide set again for Crocker. Left hash at his own 33 on 1st and 10. Takes the snap at the chest, throws over the middle of the field. That's incomplete. A smidge behind Brian Mitchell. In position, though, to make a tackle was Alonzo Houston if he had caught it, but no pause there for Mitchell. It's 2nd down, 10 to go for Wingate.
Well, here's a big 2nd down. It's 2nd and 10 for the first time in this game. Wingate not able to get plus yardage on 1st down. Eagles got to make this a 3rd and long situation and find a way to slow down this attack. Certainly would think that this will be some kind of run play.
2nd and 10. 2 tight ends to the left of the line for the Bulldogs. A lone wide receiver out to the wide side right, and a man in motion that direction as well as J.T. Stokes. Snap back, and the ball batted into the air as Crocker flutters it out to the right side. Incomplete. A flag on the play. And this might be an illegal shift coming on the Bulldogs with Stokes, the man in motion, to the near side of the field as the ball was snapped. An interesting decision here, too, for Carson-Newman. It is an illegal shift. We'll see if the Eagles elect to accept, put them in 2nd and 15, or decline, go 3rd and 10.
I think you decline it. 3rd and 10 is more than manageable enough for this defense to get off the field instead of 2nd and 15 and giving Wingate 2 chances.
Todd Boyd motioning decline.
Illegal motion, offense number 8. That penalty to be declined, 3rd down.
So 3rd down, 10 to go for the Bulldogs. Left hash at their own 33. Carson-Newman defense calling for the crowd. Mossy Creek Maniacs standing and clapping. Shotgun look for Crocker. Trips wide to the wide side right. McNeil off of Crocker's left hip. And a lone man to the short side left. That's Brooks. Crocker. 5 on the play clock. Takes the snap at the chest. Steps up in the pocket. Looks to scamper. Zings over the middle of the field and incomplete. Was in the neighborhood of both Jalen Brooks and Brian Mitchell. A crossing route for the 2 Wingate wide receivers at the 50, but Crocker just airmailed it past everybody. And it's 4th and 10. Eagles defense does the job. Hasn't looked bad as Carson-Newman's defense, except when it's fired a pistol at its foot with some penalties.
Look, if you force Wingate into obvious passing situations, it's advantage Carson-Newman the entirety of this game. Now the offense gets the ball back. This might be time to dial up some Toot Johnson and Sharon Jackson and switch things up in the backfield.
Chris Burrows is the all-sack punter. Gets off this kick. He falls down and is knocked over by one of his blockers as Des Farrell calls for fair catch and hauls in the punt at the 24-yard line. A 42-yard punt. And Burrows doesn't quite flip field position, but Eagles in decent shape with it. 1st and 10 at their own 26-yard line. No score with 5:13 to play in the first quarter. Very fortunate for Carson-Newman that there's no score. We're back to Burke Tar after this on the Eagles Sports Network.
Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union makes banking easier than ever. Stop by the Jefferson City branch at traffic light number 1 by Lowe's or convenient Morristown locations. The new Morristown South branch, located at exit 8 just off I-81, offers extended hours and is open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, visit tvacreditunion.com. Join us and go upward and forward. Federally insured by NCUA.
Carson-Newman Eagle football has been playing football since the 1880s. Well, Vaughn Pharmacy hadn't been around that long, but they're both East Tennessee institutions. Vaughn Pharmacy is proud to support Carson-Newman Eagle football. Dwight Disney and his staff do an excellent job making sure you and your family get the medicines you need. Hi, this is Bob Bell. They've always taken care of us. They'll take care of you. Vaughn Pharmacy, across the road from Powell High School in the heart of Powell.
5:13 to go in the first quarter. There's no score between Carson-Newman and Wingate. And you think about that, and then you think about the fact that Carson-Newman has -2 yards of total offense on 6 plays. And you think, boy, it is good that there's no score. Wingate, 52 yards of total offense. Eagles very fortunate that this is still a tie game. Antonio Henderson forced to fumble at the goal line to keep points off the board from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and for Carson-Newman, let's see how their offense comes out now. It's really been sputtering. -2 yards of offense prior to this possession. They have not been effective whatsoever.
-11 yards rushing for the Eagles. 1 carry for -5 yards for Drake McCowan. 3 carries for -6 yards for Antonio Wimbush. McCowan and Wimbush will be the split backs as the Eagles go to a 3-wide set. You've got Romaine Kelly out to the right and 2 wide receivers, Micah Young and Quentin Phillips, out to the left. Lena Vazquez, the red hat, waves this play ready. And the Eagles, can the offense get something going here with no score, 5:13 to play in the first quarter. Evans under center, split backs, takes the snap, just a quarterback sneak for Derek Evans, and hey, you get a push there, 3 yards forward up to the 29-yard line. Chris Boykins, the man that provided the surge that knocked Evans down. Second down and 7 to go.
Well, nobody's expecting a quarterback sneak on 1st and 10 after a timeout. So just a way to get a couple yards.
Eagles continue to go with 3 wide. 2 to the wide side right, plus Wimbush motioning that way. Eagles throw a screen to him. Wimbush catches it in the backfield. Sidesteps 2 defenders along the right sideline. He's off to the races, over the 45, across the midfield stripe, and knocked out of bounds by Cam Madison down at the 49-yard line. 22 yards for Antonio Wimbush, and his first career catch for longer than 20 yards. 1st and 10 Eagles from the Wingate 49.
Made a lot by him as well. A couple decent blocks, but he had to make 2 guys miss at the point of attack. Was able to shimmy past those 2 and then accelerate. And Carson-Newman's offense might have to use some of those short passes, maybe some draws, some screens just to get some stuff going and get Wingate out of this groove defensively.
4:14 to play first quarter. No score between the Eagles and Bulldogs. Evans under center, split backs. McCowan and Wimbush. 2 wide bunch to the short side right. Now with the play clock twirling towards 0, a flag comes out. But Mike Turner behaving like he got the timeout off in time, at least from the sideline.
Live game.
Nope.
Offense, number 14. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Not what the Eagles need with the offense struggling the way it is. Back it up to the Carson-Newman 46-yard line for 1st and 15.
Really could have had a late hit on that Wimbush run, too. It was Bagnone that was coming in there late at the knees of Wimbush, who was already out of bounds.
1st and 15 Eagles, right hash at their own 46-yard line now. Evans takes. Counter option to Wimbush. Wimbush, first down yardage, running straight ahead across the Wingate 45, down inside the 40 between the hashes, and knocked down by Wilson down at the 37-yard line. 17 for Antonio Wimbush on that tote, and it's 1st and 10 Carson-Newman.
It's one of those trap plays that CN will use. They pull the backside guard leading up in there, and then they have the option look to the left, and it works perfectly for the Eagles on 1st and long.
1st and 10 Eagles, right hash at the Wingate 37. Evans back to pass, slings it out to the left side. That's incomplete, intended for Quentin Phillips out in the flat left side over the numbers. Ellis White with coverage. Phillips had it on his fingertips, reaching up and back to his right, but couldn't corral it. Wouldn't have been able to do much with it had he hauled it in. 2nd and 10.
Derek Evans, at the outset of this year, has been hit and miss, and his consistency in the passing game is going to determine how far this Carson-Newman offense is able to go.
3:21 to play first quarter. No score between the Eagles and Bulldogs, but Carson-Newman with a drive that's gone longer than 3 plays for the first time tonight on their third possession of the game. Evans on 2nd and 10 from the right hash at the Wingate 37. Takes the snap. Late pitch to McCowan left side. McCowan sets the edge, goes topsy-turvy, and gets knocked down by Matthew Ellis White down at the 33-yard line. 4 yards on the pitch play to the left to McCowan. 3rd down and 6 to go in what might be 4-down territory for the Eagles.
There's another example, though. Quentin Phillips not holding his block long enough, and that's been one of the big issues for this offense. The blocking just hasn't been sustained to the whistle like Mike Turner wants it to be.
2:55 to play first quarter. No score between the Eagles and Wingate. Lamps are lit here at Berktar Stadium on a fog out. A lot of gray in the stands here at Mossy Creek for the home opener. Eagles going against the defending SAC champs. They've got 3rd and 6 left hash at the Bulldog 33. Evans takes the snap, rolls the pocket right, sets, throws, airs it out. Deep ball into the end zone. Got it! Touchdown! Carson-Newman! Evans dials up Romaine Kelly over the 2nd Ian Eagles over the right hashes for the Carson-Newman touchdown. 33 through the air. And Romaine Kelly, welcome to Mossy Creek. 2nd career catch, goes for a score.
Well, you love that play design from Carson-Newman. How's this drive get rocking and rolling after the QB sneak? A little bubble screen to Antonio Wimbush. So what do they do here? They motion Wimbush out of the backfield with that similar look. Wingate's thinking about short passing routes. Instead, Kelly leaks behind the defense and a nice on-target throw from Evans.
Udy on for the PAT. Snap is back, hold is down, and Udy's kick lodges itself in the scissor lift beyond the end zone. So the Eagles draw first blood. Never thought I'd say that phrase in this game with the way it had started. The Eagles on the board first thanks to the 33-yard pitch and catch from Derek Evans to Romaine Kelly, and he was wide open along the right side of the end zone. Very nicely designed. Eagles finally click on that possession. A 6-play, 74-yard drive takes 2:42 off the clock and ends in Carson-Newman's first passing touchdown of the season.
Good play design, and what Wingate's doing, they're having responsibilities on the outside. Cameron Johnson's the slot corner on that side. He releases Kelly and goes to Wimbush, and then it's just a foot race from that point on, and Kelly just beats the corner toward the end zone. Great pitch and catch. Easy touchdown for this Carson-Newman offense, and that's exactly what they needed. 79 yards of offense on that drive after -2 to start the game.
It's been through the air for Carson-Newman. 3 for 5 for 64 yards, and the score for the Eagles. 2:31 to play in the first quarter, 7-0. Carson-Newman has the lead against the Bulldogs, and now Caden Patterson set to kick off from right to left for the Eagles. He's got Simmons back deep to receive for Wingate, along with a man right around the 16-yard line, Ronnie Procopio. Patterson strides forward, right toe to leather, drives it to Simmons at the 2 along the right boundary. Simmons straight ahead, stop and start move at the 20, has the right sideline, and forced out of bounds up at the 33-yard line by Romaine Kelly with a flag on the play for probably offsides on Carson-Newman back at the 35 where the ball was kicked. I don't think Wingate would make the Eagles re-kick in this scenario. Carson-Newman's kickoff coverage team ranked 18th in the country for yards allowed. Wingate, a return of 31. That's the longest the Eagles have given up this season.
Offsides, kicking team number 10. The 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
So add that on from the 31, so Wingate takes over with 1st and 10 from the 36. Hey, Eagle fans, Domino's is the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles. When you're hungry, reach for Domino's. Get a large one-topping pizza for $4.99 with your Carson-Newman ID. Domino's, official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles. 1st and 10 Bulldogs, right hash at the 36-yard line. Crocker in the pistol, McNeil behind him. Motion to the right, fake the jet sweep, handoff straight ahead. McNeil, he is met in the backfield by Tamoris Coates and finished off back at the 30-yard line. A flag on the play where Coates made the tackle. I didn't see Coates get a paw on the face mask.
That's the only thing I can think of, especially with the direction that flag was thrown.
Be interesting to see what Todd Boyd says here.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 27. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They called Jason Cook Calhoun for a face mask there. Cook Calhoun wasn't even wrapped up on Coates. We'll get a look at the replay from the ESPN3 feed to see what exactly happened here. It was actually on one of the blockers that Cook Calhoun was locked up with. So not even on the ball carrier. A meaningless penalty there.
Yeah, still not sure if I even saw it at the end of the day in that situation.
So move Wingate to the Carson-Newman 48-yard line. Crocker in the gun with McNeil behind him. Handoff McNeil left side, jitterbugging his way across the 45, moving right down the hashes, down to the 43-yard line. Henderson slings him down, a 3-yard pickup to bring up, a 4-yard pickup to bring up 2nd and 6. $1:50 to play first quarter. 7-0 Eagles have the lead. One solid drive for Carson-Newman, surrounded by a pair of 3-and-outs. Wingate's fumbled once, punted once. This possession number 3 for Wingate. Crocker out of the gun on 2nd and 6. Pressured in the backfield. He fumbles the football. Henderson knocked it loose. Wingate pounces on top of it, though. Quick hands for Jonathan Black to grab that one. But Crocker sacked, and a loss back to the 48-yard line. -5 on the play brings up 3rd and 11. Great pressure by Henderson.
Yeah, great job by Henderson. His second forced fumble of the game already. Was able to get through early. Jordan Price overran it, because he was going for the quarterback, and the ball just slipped right under his legs, couldn't stop his momentum in time. And for Wingate, very fortunate to have a guy in the right spot to be able to pick that up. But 3rd and long here for this Eagle defense, and they have feasted in these situations.
Wingate 2 for 3, though, on 3rd down so far. But the 1 3rd and long, the Eagles covered. 3rd and 11. Crocker back to pass. Slings over the middle of the field. That's incomplete. Jalen Brooks had it in his hands down at the 35-yard line, running from the near side to the far side of the field, but just couldn't haul it in. Had the first down, had a cushion, and Wingate will have to punt. Shaw Crocker struggling a smidge, 2 for 8 through the air for the redshirt freshman quarterback.
Granted, it hasn't been that high of a bar so far, but that throw from Crocker was perfect. I mean, as a quarterback, some pressure. Carson-Newman brought it a little late, and he stood in there, delivered an on-target throw that would have been a first down, just didn't get the help from Brooks.
Snap back to the punter, Barozis. Hangs a gorgeous punt high to Desmond Farrell. He will let it bounce at the 5. Barozis pins it perfectly. And it's grabbed by the Bulldogs' Tucker Mullis, the all-sack long snapper, downs it at the 6-yard line. Eagles with a lengthy field with 39 seconds to play in the first quarter, leading 7-0.
That was a beauty of a punt. Great hang time. We talked about the wind. Didn't really affect anything there. Carson-Newman, a long, long road to work with here. And let's see how they get a drive started going. From their own 6-yard line, they just came off a 79-yard scoring drive, aided mostly through the passing game.
39 seconds to play in the first quarter. Eagles have it 7-0 over Wingate. One good drive for Carson-Newman, combined with 2 just horrific possessions for the Eagles. Evans takes, runs the option to the right, gives to Toot Johnson. Hard yards for Toot Johnson. Picks up the first down, running right across the 15, and knocked down up at the 20-yard line by Cardell Rawlings. One of 2 number 9s that Wingate has on the roster. They do the double numbers deal, and the first-team all-sack performer Rawlings knocks him down, but not after Toot Johnson gobbles up 15 yards to pick up a first.
Look, Toot's going to run really hard every time you give him the ball, and it's good to see him out there now that the Eagles are using that rookie running back.
They go to the double tight end look with Johnson and Wimbush in the backfield. Evans takes, gives on the dive right of center to Johnson. Nothing there for him. Lucky to gain maybe a yard. Probably more appropriately stopped for no gain at the 21-yard line. Rawlings, the first man there, and that brings the first quarter to a close. Eagles have the lead, 7-0 on Wingate. In a first quarter that, for the majority of it, Wingate dominated. But it's Carson-Newman up on the scoreboard, 7-0 after 15 minutes. We're back to Berktar Stadium after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
The #1 source for Carson-Newman athletics gear, shopseeandeagles.com, where you can find gear from Adidas, Columbia, Nike, and Under Armour. Shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, shorts, pants, hats, and scarves. ShopSeeAndEagles.com is your source for everything CBA. You can even show your school spirit on your smartphone or tablet. All of your game day essentials can be found in one place. ShopSeeAndEagles.com.
Dorm food got you down? Need a home-cooked meal? Then Lisa's Country Kitchen is for you. Lisa's Country Kitchen has been feeding Carson-Newman students for 15 years. Lisa's has a family-friendly atmosphere all day long. From the morning with their $2.99 breakfast specials to dinner with Lisa's fresh, never-frozen steaks. Carson, a 10% discount with their student ID.
Lisa's Country Kitchen on Route 92 off Old Andrew Johnson Highway. The best food for the best prices.
Eagles with 2nd and 9 from their own 21-yard line. Start of the second quarter, and Carson-Newman up 7-0 on Wingate's Bulldogs. While we have a moment, let's check in on the sidelines with Leanda.
Thanks, Adam. I saw a sophomore running back, Drake McCowan, emerge from the injury tent just a few minutes ago. Not exactly limping, but showing, favoring his right leg, showing a little pain. Their trainers are having him jog it off, having him work on the bike. They said they'll check him again in about 5 minutes to see if he is good to go back in the game. I'll keep you updated. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Leanda. 7-0, Carson-Newman the advantage over Wingate's Bulldogs. A 33-yard touchdown pass, the first of the season through the air for the Eagles, from Derek Evans to Romaine Kelly. The reason that Carson-Newman has this 7-0 advantage on Wingate's Bulldogs. Hey, Eagle fans, Lisa's Country Kitchen serves the best home-cooked meals that the Lakeway region has to offer. Lisa's Country Kitchen. It is the official restaurant of the Carson-Newman Eagles. Red Hat still on the field. Elena Vasquez, some extended PT out on the turf as the Red Hat today. Carson-Newman flips the script late with that one touchdown drive.
Yeah, Carson-Newman's offense starting to get things in gear, but still the running game, just 9 carries, 28 yards. It is 3 yards a carry, which at the end of the day is solid in terms of moving the football, but not where Mike Turner is used to having it. And for Carson-Newman, offensively, if they can just maintain some possession of the football and continue to move it down the field, the defense has proven that it has really started to solve the Wingate offense.
See if the Eagles' offense can continue to click in gear. Yeah. So 2nd and 9 for Carson-Newman from its own 21-yard line. Wimbush and Johnson stay in the game at running back. A wide out each way. A man in motion, McCarroll. Evans takes, looks to throw, sprints right. Still with a stiff arm, and he's dragged down in the backfield for a sack, heading to the right sideline, back at the 18-yard line. Gilmore caught him around the ankles, a loss of 3, and it's 3rd down and 12 to go. Looked like they had Trevor McCarroll sprinting free, but Wingate covered him up.
I think that they wanted that wheel route, which is not a play that they run, if ever, a wheel route to a tight end, but that was the original look that they were trying to find McCarroll and try to get some yardage in that regard, but Evans had to pull the ball down and try to scramble.
3rd and 13. 4 wide set for the Eagles. Evans takes straight drop, design draw. He'll head off to the right, look for a block, won't get it from Wimbush, and head out of bounds quickly up at the 19-yard line. Just a yard on the play. Vagnone, the man that forced him out, and the Eagles forced a punt after 1 first down on the possession.
Yeah, Eagles unfortunately unable to get a couple first downs together to try to flip fields, and Eagles haven't been solid in this category, trying to push Wingate back. Wind aiding a little bit, pushing down towards the pylons on the right-hand side. See how far the Eagles can push this ball down the field.
Dusk is set in at Berktar as the snap comes back to Koenig. He gets it away. It's wobbling into the air toward Riley, who fields it at the 40, heads right, gets dragged down as he enters the hash marks, and brought down up at the 43-yard line by Zach Talley. So a return of 3, and again, fantastic field position for Wingate's Bulldogs with 13:44 to play in the second quarter. Wingate trails 7-0, but they've got it 1st and 10 from their own 44. Wingate has only started 1 possession inside its 35-yard line. That was back at the 10.
Yeah, they're getting great field position time and time again, but so far just 52 yards of total offense, averaging about 4 yards per play so far in this game.
New quarterback for Wingate. That's Darquez Lee into the game with McNeil behind him. Play fake and a zone read for Lee. He's got good positive yardage across midfield and slides down right at the sticks, aided by Desmond Farrell down at the Carson-Newman 46-yard line. That is good for a gain of 10 and not quite enough for a first down. Call it 9.5. I think Todd Boyd wants to measure here.
Well, Lee's 6'1", 225, a transfer from Southern. He's got the skill, and I think that this is one of the things that maybe Wingate will start to look at. And I think we might see Crocker again, but if I'm Coach Joe Reich, I think I'm leaving this guy out there. I like the threat that he poses in the run game because Carson-Newman has been selling out to McNeil, the running back, and not too concerned with Crocker's running game through the first quarter plus.
Wingate does pick up the first down with the rush for Darquez Lee. So 1st and 10 Bulldogs from the Carson-Newman 46-yard line. 7-0 Eagles lead, 25 to play in the second quarter. Lee again in the game at quarterback. He's got a sidecar left McRaney. Dom McNeil, the tailback, off of Lee's hip to the left side. 2 wide to the wide side left. Darquez Lee not even listed on the 2 deep for Wingate, but here he is getting some reps on possession number 4 for the Bulldogs. Snap back at the waist. Hand off to McNeil right side. He's stretched out toward the right sideline and forced out of bounds near the line of scrimmage by Desmond Farrell. See where the spot is, and McNeil will lose a yard back to the 47-yard line, 2nd and 11.
Good job by Wyclef Fenor, the defensive end on the side the ball's run to. Could have been a holding penalty as well, but he was able to get in the backfield and really stretch that to the outside.
2nd down, 11 to go for the Bulldogs. Right hash at the Eagle 47. Lee in the gun, 5 wide. Trips to the left, 2 to the right. Lee looks to the sideline in an all-white jersey, gets a signal in, and takes the snap at the shoulders. Lee steps up, throws middle of the field. That's intercepted. An interception for Carson-Newman. Alonzo Houston grabs it in the middle of the field at the 43-yard line, heads forward a couple yards, and immediately drops to the floor. 2nd turnover of the day for Carson-Newman. Alonzo Houston had that one all to himself as Lee stared him down in the pocket.
Well, Wingate's run a lot of these crossing routes. They won one from one side and one from the other side, and Lee decided to try to go over the top. He had him open, but you got to get it over those linebackers with a little bit of loft. If you do so, it's probably a 25-yard, 30-yard gain, but instead he throws it on a line, and Houston's able just to climb the ladder, and good hands by the CN linebacker, and another turnover.
Wimbush and Williams, the split backs behind Derek Evans. 12:29 to play in the second quarter. Eagles up 7-0, looking for more with good field position after the Houston turnover. It's a trap to the right side for Wimbush, stretching it out to the right sideline. A stiff arm, manages to stay in bounds for a moment before getting knocked out by Joe Kelly back at the 40-yard line. -3 on the play, and Wingate has really done an admirable job against this Carson-Newman ground game. 23 yards rushing for the Eagles on 12 carries. It's less than 2.5 yards a touch.
Carson-Newman brought in the 2 tight ends on that play. They pulled a guard, and Wimbush was trying to get to the outside, but the Bulldogs were very disciplined, staying on their blockers as well as keeping to the outside. And there's really no option there for Wimbush to try to bust anything.
2nd down, 13 to go for the Eagles from their own 40, and whistles. See a handkerchief,
Flag is down on the play.
but
I think it'll be a false start right side of the offensive line.
Offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
so Trevor McCarriv whistled there, and that's the 7th penalty on Carson-Newman, 80 yards. Wingate has yet to be flagged. 2nd and 18 for the Eagles.
Carson-Newman's penalties really starting to rack up, and after that turnover, you're way behind the sticks. Eagles need to get some more points on the board. They have really left a lot of golden opportunities out there.
2nd down, 18 to go for Carson-Newman. From its own 35-yard line. Evans, a late pitch to Marcus Williams. Wimbush, a good block to set the edge for him, and Marcus Williams gets up to the 39, make it the 40-yard line before Gilmore and Price grab him. A gain of 5, 3rd and 13.
But now, for Carson-Newman, 3rd and 14, and I think that this is an opportunity where potentially you go to one of those screen passes. They had a draw play queued up earlier that would have worked if it weren't for a missed block. Certainly very obvious situation here for the Eagles.
11-minute mark in the second quarter. 7-0 Eagles with the lead. Williams and Wimbush, the splitbacks. Evans takes, straight drop. Now sprints right, looking for blockers, throws. That is incomplete. Fired into coverage to Quentin Phillips up at the 47-yard line, but skipped it to him with Matthew Ellis White blanketed over top of him. A broken play. Evans tried to make something out of it, but all for naught. Eagles have to punt. A 3-and-out, their 3rd of the game after Alonzo Houston picked off a pass.
3-man route, post to Evans's left, corner to his right, and then the under route there, and Mike Turner's talking to him a little bit. That's one of the issues with this offense. You don't pass the ball lots. The pass blocking isn't something that's emphasized. And then as a quarterback, you got to understand pocket presence. And if Evans sticks in the pocket, maybe he's got something there, but instead he shuts down half the field.
Snap back to Koenig. Wingate brings pressure. Koenig gets it away, takes a tumble, flag on the play. Riley will haul in this punt, catch it over his shoulder and go down at the 20. Koenig took a tumble, The question is this roughing or running into?
I think it'll be running into, and you'll probably just add it on to the end here of the 5-yard variety.
We'll wait Todd Boyd and this officiating crew's ruling.
I think Mike Turner's asking why wasn't it a roughing the punter situation, and they're going to converse on where they're going to put this football.
Mike Turner making his way out to converse with Todd Boyd on the near sideline, right around the 38-yard line. 7-0 Eagles lead, 10:40 to play in the first half. And here's Todd Boyd. So running into, not roughing. And Wingate has it 1st and 10 at its own 20-yard line. Second worst starting field position of the day for the Bulldogs. 10:40 to play in the second quarter. Eagles up 7-0 on Wingate. Eagles turn their attention back toward the defense when we come back after this on the Eagles Sports Network.
Hey y'all, Jenny here, speaking for Campbell Dental Care in Seymour. Dr. David Campbell has been taking care of my oral health for 25 plus years. Everyone in their office is so helpful and personable. They make going to the dentist a great experience. Dr. Campbell has over 37 years experience and explains each part of dental care clearly. It's gentle dental care, family dental care, complete dental care. Campbell Dental Care on Chapman Highway in Seymour. Call for an appointment today, 573-3636.
When you call a company for termite treatment, make sure you know what you're getting. Not all treatments and warranties are alike.
That's Dayton Hilton of Dayton's Pest Control.
We have two options: Centricon, the #1 termite baiting system with a lifetime renewable warranty, or Termidor, the #1 termiticide barrier treatment with an annual renewable warranty up to 10 years.
Dayton's Pest Control at 588-6686 or visit online at daytonspestcontrol.com.
7-0. Carson-Newman has the lead on Wingate. With 10:40 to play in the second quarter. A friendly reminder, Eagle fans, that the Cade Insurance Agency is one of the oldest and most experienced insurance agencies in the Lakeway region. Visit CadeInsuranceAgency.com or call 865-475-3391 for a quote today. That's CadeInsuranceAgency.com and 865-475-3391 for a quote today. Michael Watrang. Carson-Newman's offense has looked decent when it's gone to the air. 3 for 6 for 64 yards and the lone score of the day. But Wingate's defense doing a number on Carson-Newman defensively.
Yeah, so far Carson-Newman's defense has done the job, but the 2 turnovers, 0 points for Carson-Newman. They had a touchdown return, but some showboating ensured that didn't go for points. So despite the fact that Wingate has been a little sloppy, hasn't mattered.
Crocker in the gun, McNeil to his right. Trips go to the wide side right for the Bulldogs on 1st and 10 from the left hash at their own 20-yard line. 4-man front for the Eagles, and a handoff goes to the left side for McNeil. A couple of broken tackles in the backfield. He angles his way to the left sideline, is forced out of bounds by Des Farrell up at the 25-yard line. A 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5.
Well, a lot of arm tackles first and foremost, but second, if you're the last guy on the line, Jason Cook-Calhoun there, you got to force that ball back in. He doesn't quite get to the edge enough. McNeil's able to get to the outside and pick up 5 instead of what probably just would have been 2 or 3.
2nd down, 5 to go for the Bulldogs. Left hash at their own 25-yard line. Crocker in the pistol, McNeil behind him. 2 wide to the wide side right, and a lone man, Stokes, to the short side left. Tight end to the left of the line as well for the Bulldogs. Snap back, handoff, right side, McNeil on a stretch play. He stumbles in the backfield and goes down for a loss back at the 22-yard line. McNeil slipped as he planted, but a name we've called several times today, Alonzo Houston, once again the first man into the fray. Has a pick, now gets a tackle for loss to add to his resume.
Brian Bembry as well was able to get into the backfield, and Carson-Newman's defensive line starting to stiffen up, at least up the middle so far, and now you put it into an obvious passing situation. Wingate has shown the propensity to stick with those crossing routes.
Eagles trying to force their second 3 and out as a defense today. 3rd and 7 for the Bulldogs from their own 23-yard line. Crocker in the gun. Eagles bring blitz from the left. Crocker slings it. An incompletion. Bledsoe had it in his hands at the 30-yard line for first down yardage along the right sideline, was twisting his body to the left to turn upfield, and Butterfingers, it just slipped out. That's the second dropped pass for the Bulldogs on a third down that potentially would have converted it for Wingate.
And I'll tell you this much, Antonio Henderson, very lucky he wasn't called for offsides, timed it perfectly, coming off of the edge, and if Crocker holds on to it for another half second, he gets decked and might have fumbled again.
Snap back to Baroses, who gets away a gorgeous punt, sends Farrell to track it down at his own 25. Farrell makes a man miss, retweets. Yeah, retweet.
Trying to get that modulation right.
Yeah. He'll lose yardage back to the 21-yard line. Llewellyn, the first one there, -3 on the play. That's not something you want to go on Twitter and talk about there for that Carson-Newman return, but a fantastic punt by Baroses. 9:11 to play in the second quarter. It's Carson-Newman 7, Wingate nothing, and we're back after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
Serving East Tennessee for 40 years, Magaha Electric is the perfect choice for all your electrical projects. Magaha Electric specializes in retail, manufacturing, residential, and industrial contracting needs. Magaha Electric can provide superior service, technical know-how, and realistic budgeting for any size project in a timely, cost-effective manner. Visit MagahaElectric.com for all your electrical contracting needs. Magaha Electric, your East Tennessee electrical contracting source.
I joined the Guard for the simple fact that I could be home and also in the military. So I can have a civilian job and also in the military. I would tell somebody who's trying to join the Guard, if they're thinking about it, that it's a great opportunity for school, training, discipline, leadership. There's a lot of opportunities. It broadens your spectrum.
Next, 278-ACR to 70000 to join the Tennessee Army National Guard.
AM 620, WRJZ, Knoxville.
9:11 to play in the second quarter. Carson-Newman leads 7-0 in what has been a defensive slugfest thus far. Eagles up 7-0. Let's head down to the sidelines to check in with the third member of our crew, Leanda Carey.
Thanks, Adam. Just a few minutes ago, if you remember, I mentioned that running back Drake McCowan was favoring his right leg. Director of Sports Medicine Mike Van Bruggen says he is out for at least the rest of the half. They'll reevaluate at halftime and keep an eye on that leg. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Leanda. Hey, Eagle fans, check out Carson-Newman Athletics' official online store at shopseeandeagles.com. Shopseeandeagles.com features more than 1,100 products from T-shirts and polos to phone skins and pet collars. Shopseeandeagles.com. It is the official online store of the Carson-Newman Eagles. Eagles 91 yards of total offense, Wingate just 64, and just a paltry 12 yards of total offense for the Bulldogs after those first two possessions. Eagles offense needing something here. 13 carries for just 17 yards for Carson-Newman against this Wingate defense, which has looked pretty formidable.
It has, but some drop passes have helped the cause. You know, there have been some miscues on both sides, and it feels a lot like that West Florida game week 1 where both teams feel like they could have a little bit more than where they're currently at.
Wimbush and Williams, the split backs behind Derek Evans, who takes the snap. Late pitch to the left side for Williams. Williams just chucked the ball down to the ground as he was rounding the corner, loose on the far sideline, and Trevor McCarriff able to hop on top of it up at the 29-yard line. Williams just flat out lost that one as he was rounding the corner on the pitch. And Trevor McCarriff, Johnny on the spot to grab that. I don't know if a Wingate player got into the fray there or what went down, but the Eagles fortunate to maintain possession of the football there after a gain of 8 up to the 29.
I think Marcus Williams was just trying to switch hands, and it slipped out, hit him in the thigh, and McCarriff diving in that direction. Clean recovery.
2nd and 2. Evans takes, pitch right side Wimbush. Wimbush with a block for first down yardage, lowers his shoulders across the 35 and gets up to the 38-yard line where Madison finishes him off around the shoulders. Gain of 9 for Antonio Wimbush on the edge. First down Eagles. 2 plays to the perimeter working for the Eagles.
Really like that. And again, Trevor McCarriff, phenomenal. He blocks the initial guy, realizes that it's going to go to the outside, leaves him alone, gets to the next guy, blocks him, and really springs Wimbush for a first down carry.
8:12 to play, second quarter. 7-0 Carson-Newman the lead with 1st and 10 from its own 37-yard line. Evans takes, gives to Wimbush on a dive straight ahead. Nothing there for him. He's up to the 39-yard line, and that is about it. Just a yard to bring up 2nd and 9, and a whole host of Bulldog defenders in the middle there. Rollins, the first one in.
Eagles go to that trap that worked earlier, but this time good defense by Wingate up the middle. And Carson-Newman's offense, this is one of those big drives in the game. If you can start to slow things down here a little bit, eat some clock, go up by 2 scores, and then your defense can get out there maybe one final time, because Wingate receives the second half kickoff.
7:27 to play, second quarter. Eagles up 7-0. Evans back to pass, bouncing it around, throws it on a screen to the right side for Williams. Stop and start move in the backfield, and Madison able to close the gap quickly. He'll drop him for a loss back to the 37. Negative 2 yards on the play, and the Eagles playing from behind the sticks on 3rd and 11.
Just no options really for Derek Evans in that sequence. Looks to his left, looks to his right, and quickly dumps it off to the check down running back. And now Carson-Newman, another 3rd and long situation, and this has not been a recipe for success.
3rd down, 11 to go for the Eagles from its own 37-yard line. Eagles 1 for 5 on 3rd downs. Evans rolling the pocket left, looking to throw. Settles, airs it out, long ball deep into Wingate territory. Quentin Phillips grabs it along the left sideline, a completion down at the 20, and he immediately steps out of bounds. Quentin Phillips sneaked his way behind the Wingate secondary, and Derek Evans unfurled a long ball along the left sideline for a 43-yard connection to Quentin Phillips and a 1st down.
Great job by Evans noticing that deep down the field, and if he throws that anywhere towards the middle of the field, it's probably a touchdown, and very fortunately the wind didn't take care of that one and push it all the way out of play.
1st and 10 Eagles, left hash at the Wingate 20. Evans gives on a dive to the left side for Sharon Jackson. Good gain for him inside the 15. Knocked down at the hips, down at the 14-yard line. Gain of 6, 2nd and 4.
Eagles go with a dive for the first time in forever, but really for Wingate, they had 3 guys on Micah Young on that out route, and nobody even bothered to worry about Quentin Phillips, who made an NFL catch, both feet in bounds.
Jackson and Williams, the split backs behind Evans on 2nd and 4 from the left hash at the Bulldog 14. Evans takes, pitch right side for Jackson. Jackson across the 10, flag flies, a chop block coming. Jackson stays in bounds along the right sideline, gets inside the 5, down to the 3. Ellis White and Madison with a stop. Sharon Jackson shaken up on the play, and he'll be tended to by Carson-Newman sports medicine staff out of bounds on the near sideline.
Looking at his right shoulder, got popped late, but this will be a cut block on Trevor McCarriff, one of the rules that they implemented in college football.
So the chop block on McCarriff. We'll see how far back from the spot. The flag is thrown after Jackson had picked up 1st down yardages. He's helped up off the turf by Matt Rapay, Carson-Newman's orthopedist. And Jackson tried to go back in the game. He's calling for the crowd. So
I don't think he was calling for the crowd so much as he was just trying to stretch that right
fair point. Well, stretch it, call for the crowd, same motion. So this will back it up to the 22-yard line. So the penalty was called at the 7.
It's not a crushing blow on that block, but considering that ball could have been inside the 5, it certainly puts you behind the sticks. But still, 2nd and 12. We've talked about the field goal units. Maybe this is 4-down territory for the Eagles.
2nd down, 12 to go. Right hash for the Eagles at the Bulldog 22. Wimbush and Williams, the split backs. McCarriff, the tight end left, a wide out each way. Dive right of center, Williams. Good spurt for him inside the 20 along the right hashes. Knocked down by Hicks down at the 18-yard line. A gain of 4 on the dive. And it's 3rd down and 8 to go for the Eagles. 5:16 to play in the second. 7-0. Eagles have the lead.
Well, that's one of those perfect spots where you get 4 yards on 3 plays, you get a 1st down. So now 3rd and 8. Let's see what Turner goes to. This will really tell the tale on if he feels confident in that kicking unit and he wants to air it out, or if he tries to run it and get closer.
3rd down, 8 to go for the Eagles. Right hash at the Bulldog 18, leading by 7 late in the second. Evans takes the snap, looks to throw. He's pressured and sacked. Evans goes down with Rollins racing and bearing down on him from the left side, and he loses yardage back to the 21-yard line. A loss of 3 on the play, and the nation's best team in terms of quarterback sacks, Wingate, right in Evans' face on that possession.
I'm really not even sure what the Eagles were going for there as a play action on a 3rd and long. Kelly was running an elongated slant, more of a skinny post, and the Eagles just had nothing going there, and that was really an easy situation there for Wingate. They only had to guard one guy in the passing tree, and now the Eagles will try for a field goal.
38-yard attempt for Caden Patterson. Snap is back. Aaron's hold is down. Patterson's kick has plenty of length, and it has plenty of line. Caden Patterson pure from 38 yards, and the Eagles pad the advantage. It's 10-0 Carson-Newman with 4:02 to play in the second quarter. And some fireworks firing off from the backside of the Ken Sparks Athletic Complex. 4:02 to play in the second. 10-0, Eagles the advantage. This is the Eagle Sports Network.
Hello, my name is Phil Jones. I'm the senior pastor at First Baptist Powell. You know, in life, there are 2 approaches. First approach says that God exists for me. He exists to make me happy. The second approach says that I exist for God. I exist to glorify Him. And it's in that second approach that we find genuine, true joy. That's the approach we take at First Baptist Powell. Join us this Sunday at 10:30. We look forward to seeing you.
Love your drive in any season with Michelin tires and experience a confidence-inspiring combination of luxury and performance. Now you can welcome every drive with a little extra savings. Between now and September 20th, get a $70 reward card after submission with a purchase of 4 new Michelin passenger or light truck tires. At Fleet Tire on Woodland Avenue in Knoxville, your home for Michelin tires. Fleet Tire, my tire dealer for all of 20 years. See michelinman.com/promo for details. Offer expires 9/20/18. Void where prohibited.
4:02 left in the second quarter. 10-0. Carson-Newman leads Wingate. A 33-yard touchdown pass to Romaine Kelly in the first. A 38-yard Caden Patterson field goal in the second. That's where we stand. 10-0. Eagles defense the story. 2 turnovers. Unfortunately for the offense, no points off of those turnovers.
Yeah, and this is a big possession right now for Carson-Newman's defense because Wingate could, in essence, go 2 for 1 if they so chose, because they get the ball to start the second half. And if you're Carson-Newman's defense and you get a stop here, anything from that point on is just icing on the cake for Carson-Newman. And really right now for the Eagles, after a very, very slow start, the passing game has started to take off a little bit, and the ground game is starting to look a little bit more efficient right now for this Carson-Newman offense. So this possession, Wingate has 2 timeouts to work with. Let's see how the Eagles defense responds, and can they step up once more?
Wingate just 64 yards of total offense. This is a Bulldogs team that came in averaging 362 yards a game, a lot of it through the air, 223 to be exact, but Wingate just 2 for 10 for 22 yards and a pick today. 4:02 to play in the second quarter. Eagles defense looking for a stop here.
Mike Turner on the sidelines as well. He's with the offense, huddling around. I think they're making some adjustments here, and I think at halftime they'll do something similar as well.
Patterson will kick off from left to right in all blue to Riley. He sends an end-over-end kick to Riley, 2 yards deep in the end zone, and Riley immediately takes a knee just outside the S in Eagles along the right side. So 4:02 to play, second quarter, 10-0. Carson-Newman the lead over the Wingate Bulldogs. This is a shout-out to all the tailgaters. We may not all agree on the best game day foods, but when you serve your meals with an ice cold Coca-Cola, Coke Zero Sugar, or Coke Life, you know you've got yourself a winner. Coke, taste the feeling. Carson-Newman's defense has been tasting the feeling all day long. A fumble at the goal line for Dom McNeil, an Alonzo Houston interception. Eagles defense has been up to the task. Crocker in the gun, McNeil to his right with two tight ends in the game for the Bulldogs, and all white moving right to left. Handoff McNeil left side, stretch play. He bounces it outside across the 30 and forced out of bounds by Desmond Farrell at the 35-yard line. 10 yards, the longest rush of the day for the Bulldogs, and a first down for Wingate.
Just can't happen. What the Eagles do defensively, instead of Des Farrell, the cornerback on that side, shifting to the other side, he basically plays a safety look, and somebody needs to come down in that alley and force the play back toward the heart of the defense.
Actually, a gain of 11 up to the 36 for 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Crocker slings it left side, complete to Stokes at the 37-yard line, turns it up over the numbers up to the 40-yard line, and knocked out by Tamoris Coates up at the 42. Gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Just the third completion for Wingate today as a team. They are 3 for 11 through the air. Bulldogs trying to hustle with 2nd and 4, left hash at their own 42. Crocker from the gun. Handoff McNeil straight ahead. He's met in the backfield and goes down for a loss back to the 41. Brian Bembry there, as well as Jordan Price and Jason Cook Calhoun. Drop him for a loss of 1 back to the 41. 3rd down, 5 to go for Wingate. Bulldogs are 2 for 5 on 3rd down so far today.
Crocker 2 of 9 passing in this game. He has not been efficient. Granted, a couple drops as well on 3rd down situations.
This is 3rd and 5, left hash at the 41. Bulldogs trying to avoid a second straight 3 and out. Crocker over the middle of the field, incomplete for Brooks on another crossing pattern. Would have been about 4 yards shy of the sticks. Jaquan Smith came up and dislodged the pass from Brooks as he was getting it into his breadbasket. And so Wingate, a very forgettable second quarter offensively. Interception, 2 straight 3 and outs. Can the Eagles offense take advantage?
There are 2 routes for defensive backs and linebackers that you have to diagnose early, and it's the flat routes and it's those crossing routes. Jaquan Smith realized it immediately that was going to be a crossing route, got right up in there and dislodged it.
Barozas has been spectacular on punts today. He gets off another one that drives Des Farrell back inside his own 20, and he hauls it in at the 19-yard line toward the right sideline. 41-yard boot for Chris Barozas. And the Eagles with a lengthy field to go from their own 19. 2:27 to play in the second quarter. Let's check down with Leanda on the sidelines.
Thanks, Adam. After Sharon Jackson's scary injury earlier, he yelled out when the trainers rolled him over because of his shoulder, but he got up pretty quickly after that. Trainers say he is okay, ready to go back in as soon as he's needed. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Leanda. 1st and 10 Eagles from their own 19. It's a reverse to the right side for Micah Young, and Young cuts up across the 20 up to the 23-yard line before he's undercut by Matthew Ellis White. 4 yards up to the 23, 2nd and 6. Something different there for Carson-Newman.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the play design or if Marcus Williams just didn't get out there, but he didn't block anybody. It almost looked like the way that he ran it it was as if Young was going to play the option at that point.
Under 2 minutes to go on 2nd and 6. Evans takes. Late pitch, left side, Williams. Good blocking for him. Sets the edge, gets a first down. A flag flies late across the 30 and knocked down by Rawlings up at the 32-yard line. But again, a flag on the play in the area of one of those chop blocks. And I think a Carson-Newman player shaken up.
I think Quentin Phillips is going to be whistled for a holding penalty on the outside as Marcus Williams cut it back, and that's when the flag came down.
Check with Tom Boyd.
Holding, offense, number 85. 10-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
So erase that first down. That is the 9th time Carson-Newman has been penalized. They have 85 yards in penalties. Carson-Newman 168 yards of total offense, 85 yards in penalties.
Well, they're not winning that hidden yardage whatsoever. The special teams, the net punt averages haven't quite been there, and really an easy call for the official. Phillips had a big old handful of the cornerback on that side.
2nd down and 8 to go. Spot foul, the only benefit for Carson-Newman. Left hash at their own 21-yard line. And whistles and a false start. Is that the call here on Carson-Newman?
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. Remain 2nd
Mercy.
down.
The Eagles have been penalized 10 times this half. Carson-Newman came into this game averaging 11 penalties a contest. They've been whistled 10 times. Wingate has not been flagged once, save for the running into the kicker that was declined. We'll back it up for 2nd and 13 from the 16-yard line. Evans, option keeper, right side. It's positive yardage up to the 17-yard line, just a yard all over the right hash as Joe Kelly knocks him down, and it's 3rd and 12 for Carson-Newman. Eagles just 2 for 7 on third downs.
3rd and about 12 for the Eagles.
Minute 15 to play in the second quarter. 10-0 Carson-Newman the lead. And the Eagles appear content to milk some clock in this scenario. Offense has a lot of work to do at the halftime break. Defense has been pretty solid. Play clock at 7. Wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles burn a timeout with all 3 remaining in this scenario. And that is exactly what Mike Turner will do as the play clock encroaches upon 0. 51.5 seconds left in the first half. It's Carson-Newman 10 and Wingate nothing. Story today has been Carson-Newman's defense and some moments of frustration that the Eagles' offense hasn't been able to take advantage as much as you probably would have liked.
Yeah, and if you're Carson-Newman, you're going into the locker room assuming that this is where it holds true, feeling good about yourself because you really struggled those first couple possessions. Wingate had the ball inside of the 2-yard line and was going in for a touchdown when Antonio Henderson came in and spiked the ball out of the hands of McNeil. The Eagles ran that one back for a touchdown, but the penalty, which I'm not sure is the rule, was a spot foul instead of a dead ball foul at that situation. But the Eagles have some things that they need to correct, and I think immediately they got to get this penalty situation figured out because this is 3 straight weeks where penalties have really affected everything that they're trying to do. So it was some offsides penalties, some false starts in the early weeks, and here tonight, just the penalties continue to rack up, and I think that the Eagles need to go into the locker room, make some tweaks. This is a similar spot that they were in last year in terms of having a lead at halftime against Wingate, and the Bulldogs came out and dominated the second half.
If there is one positive thing for Carson-Newman, outside of the penalties, the offense has played mostly error-free. No turnovers or anything of that nature, and you'd hate to see one here in the waning stages of the first half that could let Wingate go 2 for 1. Bulldogs do get the football to start the second half. 51 seconds left in the opening stanza. Eagles up 10-0. They've got 3rd and 12 to go from the right hash at their own 17. Bush and Williams, the split backs. Evans takes, rolling the pocket left. Gets a block from Williams, now slips it along the left sideline, incomplete and out of bounds. Micah Young, the closest guy there, on a well-designed play that wasted some time through the air. You hate that you don't milk more clock, but Wingate's got enough timeouts to burn in this situation too. So 10 seconds off the clock on that lengthy rollout for Derek Evans, with Phillips and Young well covered along that left sideline.
And I think the Eagles were looking for Evans just to get to the corner and start to run and stay in bounds, get to the ground, make the clock roll, force Wingate to use one of those 2 timeouts, rather than Wingate now having 2 timeouts. And they have a chance to at least get the field goal unit on here late.
Snap back to Koenig. Koenig gets one off to Riley, who will field it. It bounces off his shoe tops at the 45. A scrum for the football at the 48-yard line. Who has it? Officials waving their hands in the air, umpiling this pile. Wingate thinks that it was Riley that got back on top of it. And the officials do signal Wingate football. That ball just bounced off of Riley's left kneecap. And he was very fortunate that he was the closest player there. Credit the Bulldogs' Jalen McNish for holding up an Eagle defender and preventing him from dropping down to the ground to make a play on the pigskin.
Yeah, Riley was able to get there and then secure it, bring it back into his chest, but phenomenal field position here for Wingate.
1st and 10 Bulldogs from their own 48-yard line. Crocker in the gun, McNeil to his right, 2 wideouts each direction. Ball rests on the eye of the Eaglehead logo. Crocker slings a screen out to the right sideline, incomplete for McNeil. had his check down guy wide open, and Crocker backpedaling off of his back foot, slinging it sidearm to the far sideline. He short opposite. 3 for 11 through the air.
I'll tell you what, if I'm Joe Reich, I've seen just about enough of Shaw Crocker. He has not been good at all today. And I at least like that look with Darquez Lee in a little bit of a read option type of offense.
2nd and 10 Bulldogs from the Eye the Eagle Head logo at the Bulldog zone 48. Crocker from the gun. Steps up in the pocket, slings over the middle of the field. That's over top of everybody and intercepted. Darius Williams along the left sideline, making people miss inside the 30 and 25. Angling to the left sideline and knocked down by Crocker inside the 20 at the 19. The preseason All-American comes through with a pick and a big-time return. Can the Eagles bury one here before the buzzer in the first half?
Well, that's the first time Crocker's hit something all day, and that was on the tackle. 60 yards in the other direction. I mean, he threw that ball so poorly that it was almost like a punt or a little pop fly that Williams just had to wait there. It was a similar thing that happened to him last year against Tusculum in a similar spot. He returns it all the way back to the 18, and the Eagles have a chance. Instead of Wingate getting a field goal opportunity, Carson-Newman, let's see if they have something to try to get some points. They have 2 timeouts to work with, 18 yards to go. Maybe this is where we see a screen pass, a little bubble screen type of deal, and see what we can get here from this Eagle offense.
6th career interception for Darius Williams. Sets the Eagles up with 1st and 10 from the left hash at the Bulldog 18. No points off turnovers yet for the Eagles. Going to get some here. Evans back to pass. Airs it out into the end zone for Trevor McCarriff. He's got it! Touchdown! Carson-Newman! Got it in front of Kelly. Some pushing and shoving after the fact, but it's a touchdown for Carson-Newman. Evans drops some water in the bucket to Trevor McCarriff in the back of the end zone, right down the middle.
I thought it could have been a pass interference call as well. They didn't throw a flag on Joe Kelly. Never got his head around to the football, and that is the definition there. You have to turn your head. He pushed McCarriff, and McCarriff, who's really played a really high-quality first half of football. He gets the touchdown reception here. Although they might be calling a holding penalty, but he's had a really good first half.
Derek Evans came out from near the official signaling hold. Todd Boyd, here we go. Well, at least Wingate finally got called for a penalty.
Really nice throw by Evans. Great adjustment by McCarriff. And that's the 2nd time in this game. And if you're Mike Turner, you got to go into that locker room and you got to lay the word down that any more penalties and you're going to be on that line, heck, I might do it tonight. And you're running. I mean, this is just getting ridiculous. This is lack of discipline by this Carson-Newman football team, and there's no excuses for it at this point. The amount of penalties, granted some have been some questionable penalties, but it's not like it's a false start that's easily correctable. These are personal foul and major penalties that are really hurting Carson-Newman. That takes a touchdown off the board. 2nd time in this game you take a touchdown off the board with a penalty.
1st and 6 for the Eagles. From the left hash at the Bulldog 14, 12 seconds to play. Eagles up 10-0. Evans takes, runs the option right. A late push to Wimbush. Wimbush across the 5, dives for the pylon. A flag on the play. Wimbush is in. Touchdown if it stands. Mercy.
But there is a flag at the 11-yard line.
This Carson-Newman crowd is nonplussed with all these yellow hankies. And Todd Boyd pointing that it is going to be on the Eagles. I can't say I blame them.
I mean, the amount of penalties in this game.
You can call a game tightly, but for there to be now 12 penalties on Carson-Newman and only 1 on Wingate at halftime, that's a little eye-opening.
Yeah, that's very slanted. We'll get a look at it here on the replay on whether or not this is a hold, and it's a hold, though. You know, at the end of the day, that's a hold. And that's an easy call for the officials. You know, you can say that it's slanted one way or the other, but at the end of the day, you got to find a way to be disciplined. And if it is clear as day a hold, that's a penalty. And it doesn't matter what the overall tally is, 12-1, whatever it is like that. If you're committing a penalty and it's obvious, you know, that's on you. And you've made another mistake. And Carson-Newman has taken 3 touchdowns off the board with penalties that the last 2 have been just out of place, out of position, and the first one, lack of discipline. And, you know, Carson-Newman should certainly be up 17-0, if not worse. Instead, now at this point, they're just hoping to get a field goal with only 6 seconds left.
Carson-Newman has yet to score on one of Wingate's turnovers yet. Eagles faltered on the first 2. This one set up by a Darius Williams interception and 60-yard return. Eagles got in the end zone twice, 2 touchdowns wiped off the board. And now Caden Patterson, who's connected from this exact spot once today, 38, will try to do so again. 38-yard field goal attempt from the right hash. 5.9 seconds left. Snap is back. Heron's hold is down. Patterson's kick is blocked at the line. It skitters wide to the left. And that is the final play of the first half. So 3 Wingate turnovers in that first half, 0 points for Carson-Newman off of turnovers. A very frustrating finish to that first half of football for Carson-Newman.
And yet again, field goal unit. No execution. Blocked field goal. And, you know, it's the same old song and dance for Carson-Newman here the last couple weeks of the season. And, you know, it's just been rough to watch this team. You know, not only do you commit the penalties, but you basically waste 30 seconds by doing so, and you don't even give your offense a chance to make up for it. So Carson-Newman hasn't done a great job in terms of taking care of business, and instead of going into the break up by 3 scores, it's just a 10-0 game.
So some frustration there for the Eagles, but Carson-Newman does lead at the halftime break. And we will be back to Berktar Stadium after this on the Eagles Sports Network.
How do you show your support for Carson-Newman? Head over to Eagles.com right now, where they have all of your needs covered. From clothing to outfitting your tailgate party, whether you're hunting, fishing, or on the golf course, ShopCNEagles.com is the place for you. All of your everyday essentials, from pens to phone chargers, are in one place. For the best gear in the business, visit ShopCNEagles.com today.
At the Kate Insurance Agency, our focus is you. The Kate Insurance Agency personalized protection plans to cover your auto, home, business, or life and health. At Kate Insurance, our goal is to partner with you in determining your insurance needs and to provide the best customer service. At Kate Insurance, we believe that loyalty is a quality that is earned. You are important to us. Call 865-475-3391 for a quote today, or visit KateInsuranceAgency.com. Touchdown, Carson-Newman!
More great Carson-Newman memories are away in 60 seconds on the Eagles Sports Network.
Knoxville TDA Employees Credit Union makes banking easier. Stop by the Jefferson City branch at traffic light number 1 by Lowe's or any of 3 convenient Morristown locations. The new Morristown South branch, located at exit 8 just off I-81, offers extended hours and is open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, visit tvacreditunion.com. Join us and go upward and forward. Federally insured by NCUA.
Carson-Newman Eagle football has been playing football since the 1880s. Well, Vaughn Pharmacy hadn't been around that long, but they're both great East Tennessee institutions. Vaughn Pharmacy is proud to support Carson-Newman Eagle football. Dwight Disney and his staff do an excellent job making sure you and your family get the medicines you need. Hi, this is Bob Bell. They've always taken care of us. They'll take care of Vaughn Pharmacy across the road from Powell High School in the heart of Powell.
It's halftime on the Eagles Sports Network. Highlights, scores, and stats are headed your way.
Straight ahead! Touchdown, Carson-Newman!
Now let's head back to the field. Here's the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier.
Halftime at Berktar Stadium. It is 10-0. Carson-Newman leading Wingate as the two preseason favorites in the South Atlantic Conference square off on this Saturday evening. Carson-Newman's home opener for the 2018 season, and it has been a first 30 minutes that, at the end of the day, dominated statistically and on the scoreboard by Carson-Newman. But some of that domination comes in statistical areas where we absolutely don't want that, one of which, penalties. 12 penalties, 99 yards for Carson-Newman. Wingate has not had an accepted penalty at this point in the game. We'll walk you through how we got to this point, and it has been a game filled with a lot of activity, and a lot of activity that you wouldn't necessarily want. Early in the game, Carson-Newman goes 3 and out, and Wingate takes early possession of the football. They barrel down the football field after a very short 32-yard punt, and they get all the way down inside of Carson-Newman's 5-yard line. McNeil gets a handoff going right up the middle, tries to go over the top of the pile. Antonio Henderson comes up, spikes the football away. Ball's on the turf. Nobody's looking at it but Des Farrell. Farrell picks it up, races the length of the football field, but as he gets down to about the 25 or 30-yard line, he starts Deion Sanders high-stepping it, and then does a flip into the end zone, and a couple taunting penalties from the Eagles force Carson-Newman to take the points off the board on what would have been a fumble return for a touchdown, and you take that off the board, and it turns in to a punt. The Eagles don't even get points on that possession. They punt it away, and Wingate takes over possession in that situation. We go back and forth for a little bit, but Carson-Newman gets possession late in the first quarter, and they march 74 yards down the football field on 6 plays, taking up just 2:42 of game time as Romaine Kelly burst open on an excellent play call decision by head coach Mike Turner, finding Derek Evans, rolls out to his right, looks short. Kelly breaks open down the right numbers, and Evans spots the wide receiver for a 33 touchdown pass, and Carson-Newman takes a 7-0 lead as Caden Patterson added the point after attempt. So Carson-Newman took the lead 7-0, but again, we go back and forth, some turnovers, an interception, some mistakes. Darquez Lee threw a pick. Eagles get great field position, can't get anything from it, but finally, a 39-yard field goal from Caden Patterson, capping a 10-play, 58-yard drive over 5:09. Gets Carson-Newman on the scoreboard once more. That was a field goal, and that made it a 10-0 tally. Eagles make some more mistakes, however, down the stretch. They get the ball late, punted away on a ball that was actually booted by the return man Riley. It was picked up by Riley as he was able to get it near midfield. 2 plays later, Shaw Crocker threw an interception. Darius Williams, wide open over the middle, was able to pick it on a horrible throw by the Wingate quarterback. He raced all the way down, but Crocker made a touchdown-saving tackle inside the 20, and Carson-Newman had possession. And then the fireworks started, and not the good kind. Carson-Newman, play action. Derek Evans spots Trevor McCarroll for a touchdown, but a holding penalty takes it back. Eagles get a touchdown off the scoreboard. The next play after the penalty, clock starting to wind down, option play to the right. Antonio Wimbush busts it, splits through a crease, gets into the end zone, another touchdown. But, again, wipe it off. Penalty, holding, Quentin Phillips. And the Eagles forced to settle for a field goal attempt, and as has been the case all year long, the field goal unit doesn't hold true. Blocked field goal. Barely makes it to the end zone, and that's how the half comes to a close. Frustration on Carson-Newman's side, but the defense has limited Wingate to just 80 total yards of offense, 27 passing yards in the game, but the Bulldogs have 8 first down to Carson-Newman's 7, and the Eagles have a lead of 10-0, but certainly for Carson-Newman, looking at the scoreboard, feels like it should be more than that. Eagles led offensively. Derek Evans, 5 completions and 9 attempts for 105 yards and that touchdown. Antonio Wimbush, 8 carries for 24 yards, averaging just 3 yards per carry are the Eagles on 23 rushing attempts so far. Quentin Phillips, 2 catches for 52 yards, and Romaine Kelly, 1 for 33 and that touchdown. Crocker is 3 of 12 overall for 27 yards and an interception. Darquez Lee 0 for 2 with a pick so far in the game. McNeil, 15 carries for 44 yards in the first half of football for Wingate. So at the break, it's Carson-Newman on top, but Wingate will get the ball to start the second half. It is a 10-0 Carson-Newman lead here at the break. Serving East Tennessee for 40 years, Magaha Electric is the perfect choice for all your electrical projects. Visit MagahaElectric.com for all your electrical contracting needs. Magaha Electric, your East Tennessee electrical contracting source. We're at the break here at Berktar Stadium. 10-0. Carson-Newman back with a look around the rest of the South Atlantic Conference when we return here on the Eagles Sports Network.
I'd rather be golfing. Floating in a pool doesn't sound too bad. I'm grilling. I'd even rather change a flat tire. These are all things I would rather be doing right now than blowing insulation into my attic. But hey, I'm almost finished, and it'll money on my electric bill. Money for my next round of golf. Save energy and money at togetherwesave.com.
Savings for Eagle fans just like you from AEC, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Hi, this is Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Turner. When you come to Carson-Newman for a game, there's only one place to eat, Lisa's Country Kitchen. Lisa's Country Kitchen has the best food for the best prices. I can tell you, eating here for nearly 15 years, Lisa's is the most family-friendly restaurant in the Lakeway area. Stop by and tell Lisa I sent you, and go Eagles.
Lisa's Country Kitchen on Route 92 off Old Andrew Johnson Highway. The best food for the best prices.
A check of the Hardy Sack scoreboard is next.
This is the Eagles Sports Network.
Hey y'all, Jenny here, speaking for Campbell Dental Care in Seymour. Their office is so helpful and personable. Call Campbell Dental Care and become familiar with my dentist today. 573-3636. That's 573-3636. It's gentle dental care, family dental care, complete dental care. Campbell Dental Care on Chapman Highway in Seymour. Call for an appointment today, 573-3636.
Here's Dayton Hilton of Dayton's Pest Control to speak on yet another pest, carpenter bees.
Carpenter bees, but they bore holes in softwoods like cedar, white pine, and poplar. Check your outside wood for holes, sawdust, and hovering bees.
I've heard not all companies bother with carpenter bees. Why do you?
At Dayton's, our goal is to provide you with professional pest control services that meet your specific needs.
If you see activity, call Dayton's Pest Control at 588-6686. Let Dayton's advantage be yours. 588-6686.
Here's a glimpse happening around the South Atlantic Conference and the nation. It's time for a ShopCNEagles.com scoreboard update. Now back to the field.
Halftime at Berktar Stadium, where Carson-Newman leads Wingate 10-0. As we look around the rest of the South Atlantic Conference scoreboard, every game that was played prior to today. UNC Pembroke Catawba canceled. The other games on the docket played Thursday and Friday. Newberry skates past Virginia Lynchburg using an early margin to be able to get past the Dragons by a final tally of 27-14, as Greg Ruff 7 of 14 for a touchdown. Nick Jones 5 of 8 for a score as well for the Wolves as they go on to their first win of the year, and that's Carson-Newman's next opponent on the schedule will be that Newberry side. That'll be on the road. It's 27-14, the final for the Wolves. On Thursday as well, Lenore Ryan's offense continued its hot start. 42 first-half points. They win the ball game 59-27. 4 touchdown passes from Grayson Willingham, 8 of 10 through the air for Willingham, 154 yards as he gets the job done. And despite being outgained in the game by nearly 100 yards, Lenore Ryan skates past Mars Hill 59-27. The passing game was not nearly as effective for Tusculum, but the ground game was dominant. A program record 258 rushing yards from Jordan Shippey, 35 carries, 3 touchdowns for Shippey, negated an offensive passing game that was just 7 of 22 through the air with two interceptions, and Tusculum beat Limestone 37-10. That was last night in Greenville. So a victory for the Pioneers. Here at Berktar Stadium, it is 10-0. Carson-Newman trying to put together a final 30 minutes of action. We'll come back with one final segment on the halftime show before we start the second half play-by-play here on the Eagle Sports Network.
At InterDigital, we strive to be a leading provider of cutting-edge digital and marketing solutions. At InterDigital, we want to help our clients find success. Our team of technology gurus work together to ensure InterDigital continues to progress forward as technology advances. At InterDigital, we make technology work for you. Visit interdigital.com for IT support, web development, graphic design, internet marketing, mobile app, and film production services.
InterDigital, laser focused on your success.
Serving East Tennessee for 40 years, Magaha Electric is the perfect choice for all your electrical projects. Magaha Electric specializes in commercial, retail, manufacturing, residential, and industrial contracting needs. Magaha Electric can provide superior service, technical know-how, and realistic for any project in a timely, cost-effective manner. Visit electric.com for all your electrical contracting needs. Magaha Electric, your East Tennessee electrical contracting source.
Zach Fleming flapping his arms like an eagle.
You found the home of Carson-Newman football on the Eagle Sports Network.
Hello, my name is Phil Jones. I'm the senior pastor at First Baptist Powell. You know, in life, there are two approaches. First approach says that God exists for me. He exists to make me happy. Second approach says that I exist for God. I exist to glorify Him. And it's in that second approach that we find genuine, true joy. That's the approach we take at First Baptist Powell. Join us this Sunday at 10:30. We look forward to seeing you.
Love your drive in any season with Michelin tires and experience a confidence-inspiring combination of luxury and performance. Now you can welcome every drive with a little extra savings. Between now and September 20th, get a $70 reward card at the purchase of 4 new Michelin passenger or light truck tires. At Fleet Tire on Woodland Avenue in Knoxville, your home from Michelin Tires. Fleet Tire, my tire dealer for all of 20 years. See michelinman.com/promo for details. Offer expires 9/20/18. Void where prohibited.
We welcome you back to Berktar Stadium. Adam Cavalier, glad to have you alongside here on the Eagle Sports Network. Halftime at Berktar. Carson-Newman is up 10-0. But again, one of those games where there was so much left out on the field. Eagles had 3 separate touchdowns called back because of penalties, 2 on the same possession. You had a hold on a touchdown pass to Trevor McCarriv, a hold on a touchdown run for Antonio Wimbush, and then you had Desmond Farrell, who was returning a fumble 100 yards the other way for a score, called for taunting, and that touchdown wiped off the board. Eagles wouldn't score points on any of those possessions. And as a result, it's a 10-0 lead at the halftime break for Carson-Newman over Wingate. Eagles defensively dominant at the half, limiting the Bulldogs to just 80 yards of total offense. So that is the one positive note for the Eagles against Joe Reich's club. It'll be interesting to see what adjustments are made here in the second half. We've got that for you when we get back after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
Since 1916, a lot of independent agents have recommended auto owners insurance, and a lot of parents have taken that recommendation to heart. So have a lot of their children, and grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. As we celebrate our first 100 years, Auto Owners Insurance thanks all those who have put their trust in us, and all the generations.
Domino's Pizza in Jefferson City and Morristown wants to help feed your business. When you're hungry at lunch, show your business card at Domino's in Jefferson City and Morristown when you make your purchase for pickup or delivery to get 25% off the entire order. That's 25% off your order at Domino's in Jeff City and Morristown when you show your business card. Call 865-716-700 to get a pizza. Domino's, the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles.
Brandon Baker with the hat trick.
This is Carson-Newman football on the Eagle Sports Network.
Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union makes banking easier than ever. Stop by the Jefferson City branch at traffic light number 1 by Lowe's or any of 3 convenient Morristown locations. The new Morristown South branch, located at exit 8, just one, offers extended hours and is open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, visit tvacreditunion.com. Join us and go upward and forward. Federally insured by NCUA.
Carson-Newman Eagle football has been playing football since the 1880s. Well, Vaughn Pharmacy hadn't been around that long, but they're both great East Tennessee institutions. Vaughn Pharmacy is proud to support Eagle football. Dwight Disney and his staff do an excellent job making sure you and your family get the medicines you need. Hi, this is Bob Bell. They've always taken care of us. They'll take care of you. Vaughn Pharmacy, across the road from Powell High School in the heart of Powell.
AM 620, WRJZ, Knoxville.
All right, back at Berktar Stadium, Adam Cavalier, Michael Watrang, happy to have you alongside for the Eagles and Bulldogs. Sack lid lifter between Carson-Newman and Wingate. Eagles up 10-0 at the halftime break. For first half, thoughts from Mike Turner. Let's send it down to the sidelines to check in with Leanda.
Thanks, Adam. Coach Turner says he likes the way his Eagles have played overall in the first half, but of course he was disappointed with penalties, 12 overall. He showed particular frustration with those 2 rapid-fire recalled touchdowns for Wimbush and McCarroll at the end of the second half, or at the end of the first half, saying, "We're making great things happen up and down the field, but evidently it was a penalty," adding, "That's all I have to say about that." Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Leanda. I would hate to be this Carson-Newman football team on Monday. There will be a lot of jogging to be had, I would presume. 12 penalties for 101 yards. The Eagles do have some additional frustration with that, though. Wingate has been penalized once for 10 yards. They've been penalized a couple more times, but a running into the kicker that was declined and a procedure penalty that was also declined. So Michael Watrang keys for second half here for Carson-Newman.
You got to stop beating yourself. You got to stop with these penalties. You got to stop making mistakes, lapses in judgment, and I hope Carson-Newman puts together a solid second half.
Patterson kicks off, and Simmons grabs it between the hashes at the 5. He heads left and gets tripped up across the 25-yard line. A good ankle tackle by Ross Pryor, knocking him down up to the 27-yard line in the boundary left side. So a 22-yard return, and Wingate takes over 1st and 10 at its own 27-yard line. Eagles defense did a number on the Bulldogs, just 80 yards of total offense for Wingate, and Wingate 3 of 14 through the air as a team.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised to see Crocker back out there. They got to feel like he's got something more in him than a really rough first half.
1st and 10 Bulldogs, left hash at their own 26-yard line. High snap, Crocker pulls it down, handoff McNeil right side, bounces off of Jordan Price, gets to the edge and gets up to the 30-yard line. Over the numbers, where Mario Mezier finishes him off up at the 31. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
Eagles have done a fairly good job on the ground game, just 3 yards a pop right now for Wingate. But there's been a couple times McNeil has been able to get around the defensive line and show some of that burst that's really aided in the first couple weeks of the year.
2nd and 5, Wingate, right hash at their own 31-yard line. Crocker in the gun, takes the snap at the waist, screen to the right side. That's complete to Brooks. He's popped at the 31 and falls forward over the numbers right side up to the 33-yard line. Ryan Bembry finished the play off, a gain of 2, and it's 3rd and a trio for the Bulldogs. Wingate 2 for 6 on 3rd down so far. Both these teams came into the game above 40% on 3rd downs offensively, but it's been the defensives that have done the job on 3rd down so far today. Wingate takes the snap. Crocker, screen left side. That's incomplete for Mason Flint, and Wingate goes 3 and out on its opening possession of the second half. The Bulldogs' 3rd 3 and out of the game. Had the guy open again. Just couldn't hang on, did Mason Flint.
Well, again, for Wingate, how do you get a quarterback going that hasn't shown the ability to shred a defense? And you try these quick hitters. You saw the screen on the right-hand side. This is just a simple flat route, looking for the tight end, Flint, and instead it's just a fastball when you need more of an off-speed pitch, and a little bit behind him as well. And these receivers haven't done Crocker any help whatsoever either, and he has had a really rough day. And I think if you're Coach Reich, you got to at least do something to switch some stuff up because the offense is highly predictable.
Chris Burrows is his 5th punt. He's been fantastic, averaging 43 a boot as he gets this one off, hangs it high. Farrell waves everybody off as it hits at the 31, takes a high Carson-Newman bounce up to the 35, a Wingate bounce back inside the 35 over the numbers left side, down to the 33, and that is where the punt will be down. His shortest punt of the day, this one only 33 yards, and the Eagles' decent field position after the defense forces a 3-and-out. 1st and 10, Carson-Newman from its own 33, leading 10-0, nearly 90 seconds into the 3rd quarter.
Well, let's see how this offense responds for Carson-Newman. I mean, the story for the Eagles over the years has been really the offense is like Novocaine. The longer you give it, the more that it starts to fit in for this team. And the run game's been better of late. Let's see if it really pushes itself over the top.
They go to the double tight end look with Wimbush and Williams. Evans takes, gives on the dive right of center to Williams. Couple up to the 36 for him. Vagnone with the stop. And it's 2nd down and 8 to go after the 2-yard gain up to the 35. 13:20 to play, 3rd quarter, 10-0 Eagles lead. 2 tight end look again for Carson-Newman. Evans under center, split backs, Williams and Wimbush. Evans brings the line set, sends Reese in motion to the left of the line. Evans takes, fakes the dive, pitch right, Wimbush picks it up off of his hip, grabs it along the right sideline, gets across the 40 and 45 and forced out of bounds for 1st down yardage up at the 48-yard line. A 13-yard tote for Antonio Wimbush. 1st and 10 Eagles. Pressure applied by the Bulldogs' Elijah Gilmore.
Well, that's the weak side of the formation. There's 2 offensive linemen over there. You fake it to the running back. Everybody crashes inside. So now it's Evans and Wimbush, 2-on-1. All Evans has to do is make the right decision to pitch it to the outside, and they're able to get good yardage. 2
tight end look again for Carson-Newman on 1st and 10 from its own 48. Naked bootleg for Evans off to the left. Throws left side, complete to Quentin Phillips. Stays on his feet, arm planted to the ground, and he's dragged down by Matthew Ellis White down at the Wingate 38-yard line along the left sideline. 20 yards through the air for Quentin Phillips. He's got 3 catches for 72 yards, a career high for him.
I like that play call a lot because you get Evans in space to make decisions. If he didn't throw it to Phillips, he had a Reese streaking across the middle of the field for an easy 1st down if he went in that direction. So the Eagles offense clicking.
12-13 to play, 3rd quarter. 10-0 Eagles. 1st and 10 from the Wingate 38. A pitch right side, Wimbush. Does not have numbers. He's hit in the backfield and dragged down by Joe Kelly for no gain, maybe a loss of a yard, back to the 39. Do give him -1, 2nd and 11. Wingate had that one well read.
Yeah, Wingate doing a really good job at times in this game, handling some of those stretch plays. One thing that I'll be curious to see for Carson-Newman, when they have the 2 tight situation going, when they go to the running back lead play, they have one of the blockers lead up the middle and stretch the play to the outside.
Carson-Newman just 62 yards rushing on 26 carries so far. 2nd and 11 Eagles, right hash at the Bulldog 39. Evans takes. Fake the dive, drops back to pass, wants the slant over the middle of the field, incomplete. More of a post than a slant. That ball thrown downfield at the 10 for Romaine Kelly, streaking at the 5, reached his left hand out but couldn't get a paw on it. Was in receivable position, just needed it, delivered a couple feet closer. 3rd and 11.
Yeah, good coverage, good throw, pretty much good across the board, good line protection as well. Eagles trying to hit one deep down the field and just didn't work out on that play, but things are looking good here for the Eagle offense, but it's 3rd and 11, and this has not been a manageable situation for this team. Let's see what they try to bust out.
3rd down, 11 to go. Eagles 2 for 8 on 3rd downs, leading 10-0 with 11:25 to play in the 3rd. This one from the Wingate 39. Evans takes, gives on the dive to Marcus Williams. Not much for him. Gets down to the 36, and that's about it. 3 yards before he ran into Hanford and Sherrod Cook. That's 4th down and 8 to go for the Eagles, and Carson-Newman will send on Craig Koenig to punt.
I think if he can get another 3-4 yards in that situation, you might think about going for it because you're in no man's land. But with the way that your defense is played, you can get a good punt here, pin him inside the 10, even the 5. This is a smart choice.
Snap back to Koenig. Wingate comes after it. Koenig boots it. It's going to land at the 2, bounce off of one of the Eagles' bullet men, Corey Waters, and into the end zone. So Corey Waters can't keep it out, and Wingate will take over with 1st and 10 from its own 20-yard line. 10:40 to play, third quarter. 10-0, Eagles lead. We're back to Berktar after this on the Eagles Sports Network.
Best tailgate? It's gotta be burgers. And an ice cold Coke.
Real football y pollo asado.
Hoops and wings. Dude, subs.
Nah, hot dog.
No, Dodger dog.
I'll drink to that. Pass me a Coke. It's gotta be crawfish. Mac and 7-layer dip. Ribs. No contest.
Hummus. What? You need a hot grill and an ice cold Coke.
Of course.
Football and Coke. Come on.
It's got to be Coke.
Game day? Race day.
Calls for Coke. You know it.
It's tailgate 101.
Domino's Pizza in Jefferson City has deals for Carson-Newman students. Bring in your valid student ID when you order for pickup or delivery, and Domino's in Jefferson City will give you a steaming hot large one-topping $4.99. That's a large one-topping pizza for Carson-Newman students for $4.99 at Domino's in Jeff City. Call 865-471-6700 to order. That's 865-471-6700. Domino's, the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles.
Night skies over Berktar Stadium. Lamps are lit for the first Saturday night home game for the Eagles since 2003. That was a 41-0 win over Guilford. Eagles pitching a shutout right now over Wingate, 10-0 with 10:40 to play in the third quarter, but a lot left out there for Carson-Newman. Wingate probably feels the same. They had a touchdown that was stripped of Dom McNeil. Antonio Henderson poked out a fumble at the goal line. Desmond Farrell returned it 100 yards the other way for a touchdown, but that got wiped off the board due to showboating, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So a lot of frustration here. This has been, we've said this, I feel like, every week. This has been a weird one.
Yeah, and honestly, this has a lot of the feel of last week. You had a chance early to really put the pedal to the floor and make this a wider margin. And here, if Wingate goes down the field, even if they settle for a field goal, now it's a one-possession game. It's a one-play game. Carson-Newman's defense has been absolutely spectacular, but if the offense isn't going to consistently put points on the board, it makes things really difficult to continually rise up in these situations.
See if Crocker can get going. He came in averaging 228 yards per game and 60% completion rate. He's 4 for 14 for 29 yards so far. 1st and 10 from the Bulldog 20. Play fake and a throw over the middle of the field. That's incomplete, in and out of the hands of Wingate's J.T. Stokes. And the Bulldogs with a 5th drop on the day. That's part of it, too. Wingate's receivers have not helped out Shaw Crocker at all. And this is a vaunted Wingate receiving corps under former Marshall and Arizona Cardinal player Nate Poole. But his wideouts today, a lot of drops.
I mean, that's terrible. I mean, Crocker threw a perfect pass. I mean, you can't tee it up better than that.
2nd and 10 Bulldogs, right hash at their own 20. Crocker from the pistol. Fakes the handoff on a jet sweep. No, he did give it on the jet sweep. Gave it to Raquan Simmons. He got into the boundary right side and just fell down. And that has been the day for Wingate offensively.
Well, it was a good job by Des Farrell. He came in there and he got a piece of the foot and was able to ring him down in the backfield, because if he doesn't, that play could have really busted out for a big play.
Loss of 2 to bring up 3rd down and 12. 10:05 to play third quarter. 10-0 Eagles lead. Wingate has gone 3 and out on 3 consecutive possessions. Eagles want to make it a 4th. Crocker from the gun. From the right hash at his own 18 on 3rd and 12. Trips go to the wide side left, low man short side right. Snap back to Crocker at the chest. He's hit in the backfield and slung down for a loss to Morris Coates. Shot the gap and stampeded Crocker back at the 8-yard line. A loss of 10 to Morris Coates. Spectacular on the blitz.
Well, it's big that the Eagles were able to get home there because Jaquan Smith and the right side of the defensive backfield really jumped the gun on a crossing route, leaving 2 men for 1 to the left of the formation, but Crocker never had a chance. Larry Slade perfectly dials up the blitz, and the Eagles able to take care of business and really do a good job of flipping fields.
Barozas on to punt. Gets this one off. A gorgeous kick. Sends Farrell backpedaling, fields it at his 40. Farrell heads right, has a seam across midfield and sprints free. Farrell sprinting inside the 30, and the touchdown saved by the Bulldogs' Matt Amos at the 27-yard line. But Desmond Farrell, a 33-yard punt return, and the Eagles' offense in business if it can get clicking here. 1st and 10 from the Bulldog 27.
Farrell made a guy miss at the 50, and Ross Pryor just couldn't hold on to a block. Did a good job for long enough, and if he holds that block, Farrell's in the end zone. But it's still a big return and just another missed opportunity by just a few inches for the Eagles.
8:58 to play, 3rd quarter. Eagles up 10-0 on the Bulldogs. Both these teams receiving votes in the AFCA poll. Evans under center. Split backs, Wimbush and Williams. Takes the snap. Dive right side for Williams. Nothing there for Marcus Williams. The Apopka, Florida native, is slung down after the whistle blows, and that'll be a personal foul penalty on Wingate. Finally, a penalty on the Bulldogs. Just the second of the day called on Wingate, I would presume. We'll check with Todd Boyd, but this should be 15 yards moving forward for Carson-Newman. The Eagles should have it 1st and 10.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, number 9, half the distance, automatic first down.
So Cardell Rollins, the culprit there. And half the distance to the goal, you'll march it off down to the 13-yard line. 8:49 to play, 3rd quarter, 10-0. Eagles have to score on this possession. Fantastic field position. Eagles need to take advantage.
And I feel like if Carson-Newman can get a touchdown, that really, really changes the game, because now Wingate can't worry as much about the run game that has been their strength for the last couple years, and now they got to put the ball on the shoulder of Crocker.
1st and 10, right hash at the Bulldog 13. Evans takes, runs the dive right side to Williams, and Wingate did a fantastic job on that. They took down both Evans and Williams. I'm not sure who will get credit for that carry, but it's not going for anything. No gain to the 13. Ontrell Mack, Cook, and Hanford in on that stop.
It was almost like Evans was trying to jump the pile over Williams there, and the offensive line just didn't get any push, and the Eagles unable to get positive yardage there on 1st down.
10-0 Eagles, 8:15 to play in the 3rd. Double tight end look for Carson-Newman on 2nd and 10 from the right hash from the Bulldog 13. Evans takes speed option left. A late pitch to Johnson. Johnson hurdles a defender, rolls over another one inside the 5, and he's stopped down at the 4-yard line. To Johnson. Totes it for 9 yards down to the 13, brings up 3rd and 1.
Look, Toot is going to run as hard as any running back the Eagles have seen the last couple of years, and he's not an easy man to bring down. Got a great head of steam, a track star in high school, and he was able to get big yardage.
3rd and 1 from the 5. Evans, quarterback sneak, surges forward for the 1st down along the left hashes, and he's stopped shy of the goal line down at the 1. Wingate unprepared for the QB sneak, and it goes for 3 yards and a 1st down. For the Wingate defensive line, slowed that down. Eagles have to punch it in here. 1st and goal from the 1. 10-0. Eagles lead with 7:33 to play in the 3rd. Evans under center. Takes the snap. Quarterback sneak. Evans is in. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Derek Evans piles into the end zone for a score, but wait, what's this? A flag.
Either too many men on the field or offsides on Wingate. They had some substitution issues.
We'll check with Todd Boyd.
Offsides, defense, number 52. That penalty is declined. Touchdown.
So the head start doesn't matter. Derek Evans into the end zone for the first time of his junior season, and the Eagles add to a 10-0 lead at 16-0 with 7:31 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Good job by the Eagles, though. able to get that push offensively, does a good job, and that's one of those situations we talked about, unable to score on some of those turnovers early. Well, Wingate gifts Carson-Newman a great chance there, and Farrell, the big return, sets up a touchdown.
PAT attempt is pure from Caden Patterson, and the lead is 17-0 for the Eagles with 7:31 to play in the third quarter. We return to Berktar Stadium after this on the Eagles Sports Network.
Hey y'all, Jenny here, speaking for Campbell Dental Care in Seymour. Dr. David Campbell has been taking care of my oral health for 20+ years. Everyone in their office is so helpful and personable. They make going to the dentist a great experience. Dr. Campbell has over 37 years experience and explains each part of dental care clearly. It's gentle dental care, family dental care, complete dental care. Campbell Dental Care on Chapman Highway in Seymour. Call for an appointment today, 573-3636.
Here's Dayton Hilton of Dayton's Pest Control speaking on controlling ants.
Most people think an ant, but there are many species of ants that must be dealt with in different ways. Some companies will just come out and spray around. I'm an entomologist, an insect expert. At Dayton's Pest Control, we treat each species as needed. For instance, the odorous house ant, which invades homes, is different from the fire ant, which builds large mounds and yards.
Keep fighting pests simple. Save time, trouble, and money. Call Dayton's Pest Control at 588-6686.
A 5-play, 28-yard drive takes a $127 off the clock. It ends in a Derek Evans 1-yard touchdown run to put Carson-Newman up 17-0 over Wingate with 7:31 to play in the third quarter for Derek Evans, his 20th career touchdown run.
Derek Evans has really had a nice game overall. Its numbers aren't necessarily flashy. He's only got 7 carries for 3 yards at the end of the day, but 6 completions for out of 11 tries for 119 yards and a touchdown. It's not like he's lighting anything up, but he's been extremely consistent. He's made a lot of good choices in the game, and even though Carson-Newman's offense hasn't been explosive in putting up huge numbers, they've done a really good job of sticking with it, and the offensive line has really started to own things up front for the most part throughout the game, and the Eagles doing a great job overall here in the second half, answering the call after a very frustrating end of the first half.
I think, too, Carson-Newman has to be pleased with a 17-0 lead in a game where they've only rushed for 95 yards. Have to go back to Lenore Ryan in 2013. That was a 38-3 loss in Hickory, where you find a game where Carson-Newman rushed for less than 100 yards. Might get there, just need 5 more yards, but one of the lower rushing efforts for Carson-Newman in a long while.
I think we're going to see Lee here as well. He's got his helmet on. Crocker does not, although he's holding it in his hand, and I'd be curious to see if Reich finally makes that choice to switch quarterbacks.
Patterson kicks off, right leg, drives Simmons into the end zone. It sails over his head and bounces out of the backside of the end zone for a touchback. So Wingate takes over 1st and 10 from its own 25, and the Bulldogs itching to get something going offensively. They have either gone 3 and out or thrown an interception now for 6 consecutive possessions. They haven't made a first down since their 3rd drive of the game, way back after Carson-Newman scored the touchdown with the pass to Kelly. So Wingate looking to get something going offensively. And you do get a look at Darquez Lee in the game at quarterback with McNeil to his right. In the left hash at the Bulldogs' own 25, trailing 17-10 with 7:31 to play in the third. Lee takes the snap, rolls the pocket right, throws right, incomplete. Had Bledsoe out in the flat, the right side of the 30-yard line, but extended it too far in front of him with Jaquan Smith in coverage. Wingate a woeful 4 of 18 through the air.
A couple of those have been drops. You got to add that into the mix. But the interceptions in this game, they have 2 of them, have just been horrendous throws over the middle of the football field. They've either been late and high or late and underthrown.
Officials from the sidelines blowing whistles. And now Todd Boyd brings in a host of black and white shirted folks to talk something over. Serving East Tennessee for 40 years, McGaha Electric is the perfect choice for all your electrical projects. Visit McGahaElectric.com for all your electric contracting needs. McGaha Electric, your East Tennessee electrical contracting source. This is from Todd Boyd.
Please reset the game clock to 7 minutes and 25 seconds. 7 minutes, 25 seconds. Thank you.
The clock rolled after the incompletion. Todd Boyd and his crew get that adjusted, and it's 2nd and 10 Wingate from the left hash at the Bulldogs' own 25. Trips go to the wide side right. A lone man to the short side left is Riley. Lee in the gun. McNeil to his right, flips a screen to McNeil out in the flat. McNeil with blockers, gets along the right sideline, hurdles a man, and falls out of bounds up at the 30-yard line. Mario Mezier sent him airborne and forced him out and put him out at the 29. So a gain of 4 brings up 3rd down and 6 to go. Wingate looking to avoid its first 3 and out since the first quarter.
Well, good job getting the ball in the best hands on the team, but just nothing to show for it.
Lee in the gun. McNeil to his left, 2 wide each direction on 3rd and 6, right hash at the Bulldog zone. 29 down 17-0. Snap back to Lee. 3-step drop, airs it out, right side, has a man, incomplete. Had Bledsoe on a out route along the right sideline, but Mario Mezier collides with him as he hits the deck, and he can't hold on. And Bledsoe, and another drop for the Bulldogs, forces another 3 and out and a punt. Wingate with just 79 yards of total offense here midway through the 3rd.
This has been amazing, the amount of drops. I mean, this has just been a plague for Wingate. It's like in baseball, you're watching a game and the errors start to mount up. Well, this has just been contagious for Wingate in this game.
Broses on the punt, low snap, corrals it, gets it off, it turns end over end. Des Farrell calls everybody off. It bounces at the 38. A Wingate bounce down to the 35. Along the numbers right side where it is downed by the Bulldogs long snapper Tucker Mullis. So Eagles take over 1st and 10 at their own 36. The score here could be the death knell. They're up 17-0 with 6:48 to play in the 3rd. And we're back after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
Were you born in a barn? You're letting all the AC out. A 30-minute shower? Come on. It's a full-time job following you kids around turning off lights. Do you have to leave the fridge door open the whole time you're in the kitchen?
Are you bad energy saving habits? Save energy and money at togetherwesave.com.
AEC, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Member-owned, service-driven.
Okay, let's see. Carson-Newman University. It's been around since 1851. A beautiful campus, amazing student life, world-class accredited academics, competitive athletic programs, a Christian, a top 10 best value school. They give $48 million in financial aid every year, and I get a free scholarship when I enroll. Looks like I've found the perfect place.
6:48 to go here in the 3rd quarter at Berktar Stadium. It is a 17-0 lead for Carson-Newman over Wingate in the lid lifter. Between these two teams, Wingate has won 12 consecutive night games. Their last loss on October 4th, 2014 at Newberry, 33-10. It's been the Eagles behind a really dominant defensive effort that has done the job. Eagles have looked nigh impregnable tonight. 79 yards of total offense for Wingate, and the Bulldogs have just been moribund offensively since the first quarter. They have either gone 3 and out or had a pass intercepted their last 7 possessions, and the Eagles take over after a 5th straight 3 and out with 1st and 10 from the right hash at their own 36, up 17-0. See if the Eagles can score here on a longer field. They stay with the 2 tight end look. It's Wimbush and Johnson, the split backs behind Evans. Lone wide out to the wide side left is Phillips. Evanson's recent motion to the left of the line takes the Snap, option keeper right side, and he's slung down for a loss by Boykins back at the 35-yard line. Loss of 1, and it's 2nd down and 11. If you're Wingate and you hold Carson-Newman to 94 yards rushing midway through the third, you think you've had a great day. But the Bulldogs just haven't had the offensive counterpunch.
They have not, but Carson-Newman's done a good job in the passing game, 119 yards there, and that's where the game-changing plays have come from for CN.
6:20 to play, third quarter. 17-0. Carson-Newman the lead on the Bulldogs. Eagles with 2nd and 11, right hash at their own 35. Wimbush and Johnson, the split backs behind Evans. Wimbush in motion to the wide side left with 2 wide receivers. Evans takes, rolling the pocket left, looking to throw. Settles, airs it out, deep ball along the left hashes. Incomplete for Quentin Phillips. Phillips had to run a little too far inside to catch up with that one. He was covered man for man and step for step with Chandre Miller, and a flag on the play. 3rd and 11 potentially.
Not sure what this is. It was thrown about 10 yards back behind the play.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct, Wingate sideline, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
A bit of a Bronx cheer there from the Carson-Newman crowd in attendance, saying finally.
Well, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of disagreement from the sideline either for Wingate, but Eagles will gladly take that. Instead of 3rd and 11, you push the ball all the way out to midfield and a refresh of downs.
1st and 10 from the 50. Ball rests just beneath the scruff of the midfield Eaglehead logo. 5:58 to play in the third, 17-0. Eagles lead over the defending SAC champs. Evans under center with split backs. Wimbush and Williams. Counter right to Wimbush. Wimbush chewing up hard yardage. Down to the 45 in the boundary right side before Vagnon brings him down from around the shoulders. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
This is where if you're Carson-Newman, you can really start to put this game on ice with a ground game. If you can make it consistent, then you can start to push the chains forward and really bleed the clock.
2nd and 5 for Carson-Newman and the Eagles' bleeding clock. Play clock at 14 as Carson-Newman moves left to right, clad in all blue. 2nd and 5, right hash at the Bulldog, 45. Evans takes, gives to Williams straight up the middle. Williams surges forward for the first down across the 40 and 35, and knocked down by Gilmore, down at the 32. Williams a stutter step away from taking that one the distance. Instead, it's good for 14 yards down to the 31 and the first down.
Just a simple trap. Eagles have run it a lot. Micah Presley pulls from right to left, gets a good block, and then Williams with good burst right behind Presley, who almost didn't get down the field quick enough. Otherwise, the Eagles would have had no gain, but a good job by those two setting the stage for a big rush.
4:50 to play, third quarter. 17-0. Eagles the lead. 2 wide, 1 each direction. Wide side to the left on 1st and 10 from the right hash at the Bulldog 31. Evans takes, option keeper, left side, and he's collapsed on top of him by Cardell Rawlings back at the 35. Good burst by Rawlings, who has been all over the place tonight for the Bulldogs. Rawlings, 4th tackle of the day and his 2nd for loss.
It's been a good job by the 2 defensive ends as well. Boykins and Rawlings handling the option a lot of times, and that's twice on this possession where Derek Evans probably should have given it to the dive man.
2nd down, 14 to go for the Eagles after the loss of 4. Snap will come from the Wingate 35 with the ball closer to the left hash than the right. Evans takes, speed option right, a low pitch to Wimbush. Wimbush has the edge across the 30. Cut back left at the 20. He's twirled around over the numbers right side and spun down for first down yardage by Miller down at the 16-yard line with an aid from Rawlings. But Antonio Wimbush, 19 yards on the ground, down to the 16, and a first down for the Eagles. Wimbush up to 60 yards rushing now on 12 carries.
Ed Aldred with a huge block. He was the crackback guy coming down. Not only got the alley runner, but picked up a linebacker as well, a 2-for-1 block. That's the big reason why Wimbush is able to squirt for a first down.
17-0. Carson-Newman the lead with 3:30 to play in the third quarter. Eagles have it 1st and 10, right hash at the Bulldog 16. Evans takes, trap, right side. Wimbush runs into a pile of bodies across the line of scrimmage. Gilmore the first one into the hole, but Wimbush positive yardage inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. a 2-yard tote, 2nd and 8.
This is where the freshness of Carson-Newman's running backs could really start to take a toll. I mean, that's Wimbush's just 12th carry of the day. Marcus Williams has 8. Nobody else has 3, and they're starting to shuffle those guys in as well with Jackson and Johnson coming in, the JJ brothers.
Jackson on the left, Johnson to the right. The split backs behind Evans. 2 tight end look on 2nd and 8 from the right hash at the Bulldog 14. Evans takes, speed option right, flag flies, movement comes in with an official from the left side.
False start, offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Second procedure penalty called on Trevor McCarriff today. He had a touchdown wiped off the board because of a holding penalty earlier. Instead of 2nd and 8, you get 2nd and 13 for the Eagles from the Bulldog 19.
But you're chewing some clock, 4+ minutes deep in this possession, and you're in field goal range. Now it's whether or not you can punch it in for 6, which really could be the knockout blow if they can find a way to get across the goal line.
10 on the play clock as Carson-Newman content to milk things here. 3 wide set on 2nd and 13. Evans back to pass, rolling left, playground play. Evans cuts it upfield into the boundary left side and gets back to the original line of scrimmage down to the 16-yard line. Satterfield in pursuit. Pardon me, that's Robbie Wallace in pursuit. A gain of 3 down to the 16. And it's 3rd and 10 for Carson-Newman.
Evans was trying to do it with his feet instead of looking for anybody down the field, but he only had really one option. Both receivers were going toward the end zone and away from him. No option but just to fall on the ground at that point.
3rd and 10 Eagles, left hash at the Bulldog 16. Evans takes the snap, rolling right, looking to throw, airs it to the back right corner of the end zone, incomplete. Ted Mitchell was the closest guy there, but certainly nowhere near him. Davion Washington had a better beat on it, but Evans just let that one fly out of the right side of the end zone.
Looked like Evans thought that was going to be a wheel route from Mitchell. If Evans comes out of his break and throws the flat pattern to Mitchell, Mitchell's got it. He's got a 1st down and can probably do barrel rolls into the end zone. Nobody's out there, but miscommunication, or one of the two wasn't on the same page in that situation.
Caden Patterson to kick. He's 1 for 2 today. Both from 38 yards. Had 1 block. This one's from the left hash and from 34. Snap back, hold down. Patterson's kick is on the way, and Patterson's kick is wide to the right. Cardell Rawlings was shooting right up the middle, and I think he forced Patterson to adjust it at the last second, but Eagles 1 for 3 on field goal attempts, and Carson-Newman unable to do anything in the red zone.
Well, if Patterson does put that in the middle, it probably gets blocked because Rawlings was right in the backfield and a couple yards away from where that ball was kicked, and the Eagles very fortunate that it wasn't blocked, and somehow Patterson was able to sneak it by the initial line. He got hit as well. If he falls down, there's a chance you get a running into the kicker or roughing the kicker and another chance, and that's something where, as a specialist, you got to embellish a little bit.
1st and 10 Bulldogs. The chain's not yet set. Going to be 1st and 10 Wingate from the right hash at their own 20-yard line. A string of drives for Wingate that has featured a pick or 3 and out the last 7 possessions. Crocker's back into the game at quarterback with McNeil to his left. Snap back, play fake. Crocker slings it right side, complete to Bledsoe in space, up across the 30. He rolls for 1st down yardage over the 35 and knocked down by Jaquan Smith over the hash's left side up at the 38. An 18-yard gain. That is the longest play of the day for Wingate. And a 1st down. Their first down for the Bulldogs since the first possession of the 2nd quarter. Wingate trying to run tempo down 17-0 with 70 seconds left in the 3rd. Crocker in the gun. McNeil to his left. Snap back at the waist for Crocker. Steps up, throws, middle of the field, wide open, and a completion to Bledsoe into Carson-Newman territory across the 40, down to the 35 before he's brought down by Williams over the hash's left side. A gain of 27 through the air gives Wingate 1st and 10 at the Eagle 35. Wingate trying to hurry. Crocker takes the shotgun snap, handoff McNeil left side, has a cutback lane, breaks free. to the left sideline and forced out of bounds inside the 25 by Jaquan Smith down at the 24. 11 yards and another first down for Wingate. New life from Wingate offensively.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you don't take opportunities to put points on the board. Wingate's starting to get some momentum rolling, down by just 3 scores here.
Clock at 42 seconds to play in the third. 17-0 Eagles lead. Crocker with 1st and 10, left hash at the Eagle 24. Wideouts bunched 2 each direction. Wide side to the right. Crocker, shotgun snap at the waist. Stands in, loads of time. Pressured, now he jets over the middle of the field. And gives himself up across the 20, sliding head first down to the 18-yard line. 6-yard gain for 2nd and 4. Clock rolls. Wingate does not need to run another play this quarter unless it chooses to. And this will be how the third comes to a close. So Wingate knocking at the door. They've got their first extended possession since the first quarter. See if the Eagles defense can stiffen yet again. Through 45 minutes, it's a 17-0 lead for the Eagles. This is the Eagles Sports Network.
Hello, my name is Phil Jones. I'm the senior pastor at First Baptist Powell. You know, in life, there are 2 approaches. First approach says that God exists for me, to make me happy. The second approach says that I exist for God. I exist to glorify Him. And it's in that second approach that we find genuine, true joy. That's the approach we take at First Baptist Powell. Join us this Sunday at 10:30. We look forward to seeing you.
Love your drive in any season with Michelin tires and experience a confidence-inspiring combination of luxury and performance. Now you can welcome every drive with a little extra savings between now and September 20th. Get a reward card after submission with a purchase of 4 new Michelin passenger or light truck tires at Fleet Tire on Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Your home for Michelin tires. Fleet Tire, my tire dealer for all of 20 years. See michelinman.com/promo for details. Offer expires 9/20/18. Void where prohibited.
Start of the fourth quarter here at Berktar Stadium finds Carson-Newman leading Wingate 17-0, but the Bulldogs just on the edge of the red zone. They've got it, or inside the red zone, pardon me. They've got it 2nd and 4 from the Carson-Newman 18. InterDigital strives to be a leading provider of cutting-edge digital and marketing solutions. Visit interdigital.com for IT support, web development, virtual tours, graphic design, internet marketing, mobile app and film production services. InterDigital, they are laser-focused on your success. See if the Eagles defense can bow up here with a 2nd and 5 for Wingate from the Carson-Newman 19. Carson-Newman has dominated this game defensively, but some issues to deal with offensively and in special teams, especially as it relates to penalties.
And that hidden yardage again. The penalties have cost them. The punt averages hasn't quite been there. They've missed 2 field goal opportunities. Should be at least 23-0, and we all know that this should be significantly worse than that at this point, but here we are. If Wingate finds a way to get into the end zone, we got ourselves a dogfight for the final 15 minutes.
2nd down, 5 to go for the Bulldogs. Left hash at the Eagle 19. Wingate moving left to right toward the side of Berktar Stadium with the K-Sack in white jersey tops, white trousers, navy blue helmets adorned with 2 golden stripes trimmed in white, and blue numerals on the front and back of the jerseys trimmed in gold. Shaw Crocker has been better this possession. He's 2 for 2 through the air for 45 yards. He was 4 for his first 15 passing the football. So a better effort from Crocker on this possession than his first several. Eagles have not beaten a defending SAC champion since 2012. They've lost 6 straight since then, and trying to end that streak here against the Bulldogs. Started 9-0 last year en route to the SAC title. Finally ready for play after the lengthy media timeout from ESPN, in attendance today for the Division II showcase game. Crocker in the gun for 2nd and 5, left hash at the Eagle 19. McNeil to the right. Play fake. Crocker hit as he throws along the right side of the end zone. Stokes will mishandle it in the end zone, but a flag on the play. Desmond Farrell and Stokes jostling one another in the end zone. We'll see if this goes on Stokes or if it goes on Farrell. But pass interference will be the call.
Antonio Henderson got in on Crocker immediately. Fortunate he wasn't called for a penalty because he came down with both hands and looked like he might have caught Crocker's helmet.
Here's Todd Boyd.
Pass interference on the defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And not necessarily a bad penalty there for Desmond Farrell either, because he at least keeps points off the board. That was a fantastic effort by the Bulldogs' J.T. Stokes.
Just had his right arm on Stokes' left arm, kind of holding him back.
First and goal, Bulldogs, left hash at the Eagle 4. And a flag, false start coming on Wingate. Bulldogs with a little more room to work with.
False start, offense number 85. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
14:52 left in the fourth quarter. 17-0. Carson-Newman has the lead. Bulldogs have it first and goal from the 9. Trips go to the wide side right for Wingate. Crocker in the gun with McNeil to his right. Eagles with a 4-man front showing blitz with Alonzo Houston from the left side. Crocker calls for the snap, gets it at the head, throws to the right side, complete to Mitchell at the 10. Mitchell with loads of running room, pile drives his way in. Touchdown Bulldogs. A 9-yard swing pass to Brian Mitchell. Gets him into the end zone for the second time in his career against Carson-Newman, and the first time this season, and Wingate a PAT away from making this a 10-point game with 14:46 to play in the fourth.
That's the wide side of the field. And for the Eagles defensively, they just had two guys that just absorbed blocks. Antonio Henderson and Mario Mezier just absorbed the blocks rather than trying to get past him, and the Eagles give up points. And here we go, 10-point game. Start the fourth.
McLean Robertson is pure with the PAT, and Wingate is down 10, 17-7 with 14:46 to play in the fourth quarter. Carson-Newman has dominated this game so far. Wingate a 5-play, 80-yard drive in a minute 41, ending in the 10-yard touchdown pass to Brian Mitchell.
So here comes Carson-Newman's offense back on the field, and you leave the points on the board like the Eagles have done so here in this contest, and you put yourself in a spot to where the offense needs to have another sustained drive. The last one took over 5 minutes off the clock, but you didn't come away with points. You missed a field goal. So now if Carson-Newman can have a similar drive and put points on the board and get it back to a 2-touchdown game, you feel a lot better about yourselves than being up by just 10.
17-7 in favor of the Eagles. Wingate 80 yards on that drive. They had 69 the previous 10 or so possessions. Much better effort from the Bulldogs. See if the Eagles offense can respond. Robertson boots it. It'll come down to Arterbridge, 2 yards deep on the left side of the end zone. Arterbridge straight ahead across the 20 and 25, head over heels. In the boundary left side up to the 28-yard line. Ronnie Procopio, backup running back, makes the stop. They'll actually mark him down at the 30 and a 30-yard return for Ray Arterbridge. Good decision to bring it out.
A good field position now for the Eagles. 14:39 to go in the game. You have 70 yards between you and 6, and you'd like to see a good drive from this Eagle offense. They haven't put one together top to bottom here in a little while.
17-7 Eagles lead with 14:39 to play in the fourth quarter. Eagles with just 251 yards of total offense. Evans takes. Rolling to the right. Evans looking to throw. Dumps it into the flat for Trevor McCarriv. Incomplete. Tough throw for Evans to make with Wallace in coverage. And it's 2nd and 10. Wallace didn't play the first 2 weeks. Wingate's star all-conference middle linebacker, but he's back for the second half here today.
A really good job by Wallace. He was at the line of scrimmage when Evans was several steps into his drop, but he hustled, found McCarriv, then turned his head around as well to get in the passing lane. That's a good job on what could have been an easy pitch and catch and potentially first down yardage.
Second down, 10 to go for the Eagles. Left hash at their own 30. They're up 17-7 with 14:33 to play in the fourth quarter. Aldred and Moore, the wideouts to the wide side right. A lone man split to the short side left is Mitchell, but Mike Turner wants to chat things over first, so we're going to step aside for a break as well. 14:33 to play in the fourth quarter. It's a 17-7 lead for the Eagles over the defending SAC champs. Eagles need to put together something offensively this possession. We'll see what Turner has in his bag of tricks when we come back after this on the Eagles Sports Network. We're back after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
From foot-long hot dogs to juicy steaks, Lisa's has the best food for the best prices.
Lisa's Country Kitchen on Route 92 off Old Andrew Johnson Highway. The best food for the best prices.
$14:33 to play in the fourth. 17-7. Carson-Newman the lead over Wingate. The 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment would like to thank Carson-Newman for its support. As a partner with Carson-Newman, the 278th ACR will provide you with the opportunity to achieve your educational goals. The 278th ACR invites you to be a leader while serving our community, our state, and our country. Come ride with the Tennessee Cavalry. Text 278-ACR to 70000. That's 278. You can text it to 70000. 14:33 to play in the fourth. 17-7. Eagles the lead on Wingate. But now what has looked like a cod-lock lead feels a little tenuous.
It does, and for Carson-Newman, it's now on this offense that, despite outgaining Wingate by over 100 yards in the game, has not really had the best overall day at the office, running the ball at just 3.4 yards per carry in this game. And we'll be curious to see how Mike Turner handles this possession. They try to throw it on first down and get some yardage, and now you put yourselves behind the sticks on 2nd and 10.
Big thing for Wingate, too. They have 12 tackles for loss, and that is a high figure against this Carson-Newman offense. That's tough to do. Carson-Newman, for years, has been among the top 10 teams in the country for fewest tackles per loss allowed. Evans takes on 2nd and 10. He spins it out to the left side, a completion to Ed Aldred up across the 35 to the 38-yard line. Hit him on a hitch route. He gains 8 yards to bring up 3rd and 2, stopped by Matthew Ellis-White.
Just a lot of fluidity on that play as Evans is able to get back. Aldred able to make the catch, and before a linebacker comes in and clotheslines him, he's able to dive forward and make this 3rd and very short.
3rd down, 2 to go for the Eagles. Left hash at their own 38. Carson-Newman, 2 wide receivers set. Kelly split out to the wide side right. Aldred to the short side left. Evans takes. Fakes the dive. Flag flies, though. Procedure penalty likely coming on Carson-Newman.
False start, offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
3rd false start on Trevor McCarriv. Instead of 3rd and 2, you get 3rd and 7. The Eagles just 3 for 11 on 3rd down so far today.
Well, you haven't seen a screen. You haven't seen a draw play in a little bit. See what Mike Turner dials up here. Instead of it being what could have been a fairly easy conversion on 3rd and a short 2, turns out to be 3rd and 7 now, and the Eagles have not been very good on 3rd downs, just 3 of 11.
Wimbush and Johnson, the split backs behind Evans. Evans takes. It's a draw to Wimbush left side across the 35. Stutter step move. Hurdles a defender in the boundary left side. He gets upended by Matthew Ellis-White, short of the first down, up at the 37-yard line. Play design was there. Ellis-White just made a nice play in space. Gain of 4 to bring up 4th and 2.
Eagles ran that play earlier in this game as well, and Wimbush was suplexed on that one before the first down. This time, Wimbush just an inch away from getting a big gain. The Eagles had some good blockers, but a great job running the alley in that situation by Ellis-White.
Koenig on to punt. Lefty sends it to Riley for a fair catch. He hauls it in at the 33-yard line. So Craig Koenig, a punt that just travels 33 yards. It gives Wingate decent field position at their own 33-yard line. Massive possession now for the Eagle defense after Wingate's defense forces the Eagles off the field with a 3-and-out.
Yeah, no question about it. A lot of time left in this game. Wingate's offense found something on that last drive, and quick hitters on the outside, and Crocker much more comfortable with that set.
He's got 5 wide receivers for this 1st and 10 play from his own 33, does Shaw Crocker. Ball on the right hash. Trips go to the wide side left, 2 to the short side right. Coates showing blitz in the gaps. He's lined up off the left edge for the Eagles. Snap back to Crocker at the chest. Pressured, steps up in the pocket, zips over the middle of the field, incomplete on a drag route to Bledsoe. Penalties come in. Penalty markers come in after the play concluded. Desmond Farrell was tangled up with Jalen Brooks at the end of the play.
Brian Bembry comes in almost unblocked.
Holding on the defense, number 2. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They're holding on Desmond Farrell on Jalen Brooks. So march off 10 yards up to the 43.
These penalties for Carson-Newman really turning out to what could be a downfall in a game in which they've controlled.
12:39 to play in the 4th. 17-7 Eagles lead. Screen pass left side McNeil. He's got space. Bursts across midfield, across the 40, cut back at the 35, and he steps out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Jaquan Smith forced him out, but McNeil on the swing pass, 22 yards through the air. And Wingate in business. Down 17-7 with 12:32 to play in the 4th.
Bulldogs doing a really good job blocking on the outside as well. Eagles defensive backs unable to get off their blockers.
1st and 10 Bulldogs, left hash at the Carson-Newman 34-yard line. Crocker in the gun. McNeil to his left, 2 wide each direction. Snap back to Crocker. Throws it left side. That's complete to Stokes in traffic. Spins through a tackle and falls down at the 30-yard line over the numbers left side. Timoris Coates knocked him down. A gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
Coates was a fraction of a step away from being able to pick that and take it to the house. Just missed it.
11:55 to play in the 4th. 17-7 Eagles lead. Snap back to Crocker. Throws it right side. A screen is incomplete. Intended for Malik Bledsoe, but he didn't turn his head. The ball skitters to the turf for an incompletion. 3rd down. 6 to go for the Bulldogs. They need the 24.
If Antonio Henderson gets his head around in that situation, he might have fallen into a pick as well. But very close misses for the Eagles, and Wingate's offense still out there. This would be a 47-yard field goal from here, but the wind is blowing feverishly to the right-hand side. So a big 3rd down.
3rd and 6 Bulldogs, left hash at the Eagle 30. Crocker in the pistol, McNeil behind him. 2 wide to the wide side right, 1 to the short side left. Play clock at 3 with a man in motion. Brooks, hand off on the jet sweep to him. Brooks cuts the corner, but doesn't have the yardage. Gets upended by Jaquan Smith down at the 31-yard line in the boundary left side. Or pardon me, at the 26-yard line. A gain of 4. 4th down and 2 to go, and on comes McLean Robertson, who is 6th in the country in field goals made per game. He's trying to bring Wingate within a touchdown here. But first, Bulldogs want to chat things over with 11:21 to play in the 4th, down 17-7. If you're Michael Wantring, if you're Joe Reich here, try to gamble like you're brother Frank, now the head coach of the Colts. Go for it here.
They lost week 1 to the Bengals, but certainly if you're Wingate, I mean, this is a manageable 4th and 2. I mean, it's maybe on the longer side of 2 yards, but with that wind that has been stiff, this just all comes down to your kicker. Do you really trust him enough to be able to handle the elements? Because this is a great chance to get points. The bigger story, you waste the time out here. Instead of having all 3, now you're down to just 2, and that could really come back to haunt them later in the game. So I think maybe part of the timeout, though, was to get a few extra seconds to talk to your offensive coordinator, say, do you like something here? Do you like something on 4th and 2 that can get us those 2 yards and keep this possession rolling along? Because right now they have Carson-Newman on its heels.
11:21 to play in the 4th, 17-7. Carson-Newman the lead. The longer this game goes on, you feel like the more and more it favors Wingate, unless the Eagles can get some momentum shift back in direction. Wingate, if it goes for a field goal here, be a 43-yarder. McLean Robertson, sophomore out of Lexington, South Carolina, has hit from that distance before this season. He's 4 or 5. His lone miss came from 53 yards against Johnson C. Smith in the opener.
And here you're looking at about 43. The thing that you do have on your side is it's spotted on the left hash. So it's pretty easy because you just aim at that left field goal post, you kick it right at it, and the wind will take it nicely from left to right and cross through the uprights. But it's whether or not you feel like you can get these 2 yards, pick up the first down, and keep things rolling along. Carson-Newman trying to decide what to do, too, because they had a couple different packages that they might have to use here. And it's the offense on the field for Wingate.
So the Bulldogs going for it on 4th and 2 from the left hash at the Carson-Newman 1-yard line, or 26-yard line, pardon me. The line to make is just across the 25. Crocker from the gun, trips to the wide side right. Snap back, takes it at the shoulders, looks, throws, middle of the field, incomplete. In and out of the hands of Brooks. And another drop for Wingate's receiving core. Receivable position, had inside leverage on the Eagles defender, and Brooks just couldn't bring it in.
I will say this, it might have been Antonio Henderson, but somebody came screaming across late, flung their hands up in the air, may have shielded the line of sight for Brooks. Des Farrell was on coverage, and that is a huge stop. And certainly if you're Wingate, you think, should you have tried the field goal to make this a 7-point game?
11:17 to play in the 4th. 17-7. Carson-Newman the lead. Wimbush and Johnson the splitbacks behind Evans on 1st and 10 from the right hash at the Eagles' own 26-yard line. Evans takes the snap. Option to the left side. Evans, a late pitch to Johnson. Johnson hits the hole, scooting his way across the 30. Carries 2 defenders up to the 36-yard line before Robbie Wallace finally finishes him off with help from Montrell Mack. Toot Johnson. That 18-year-old is a man.
And the Eagles very lucky. Philip McDowell could have been called for a hold there as he was blocking Jordan Anderson, who was in the backfield. Fortunately, the Eagles didn't get it, and McDowell was able to maintain the block to allow Carson-Newman's offense to get to the outside and get that 9-yard gain. 2nd and 1, Eagles left hash at the Carson-Newman 35. Clock rolling past 10:40 in the 4th. Eagles up by 10, 17-7. Play clock at 5 as Evans brings the line set with 2 tight ends. Evans takes quarterback keeper. He's got the first down, running off the right hip of first-team all-conference center Jordan Seal. Gets up to about the 37-yard line and has enough for the first down. Well, that's good news now for Carson-Newman. The Eagles now have more rushing yards than they have penalty yards. 145 to 136. Not great in either direction for this veer option attack for the Eagles. The clock continues to churn. 1st and 10 Eagles left hash at their own 37. Wimbush and Johnson the splitbacks. Evans takes, trap left side Johnson. Bowls over a defender across the 40. He gets up to the 42-yard line before he finally is brought down by Gilmore. 5 yards for Toot Johnson, 2nd and 5. You can tell Johnson was one of those guys when you're playing in the sand lot. He didn't want to play two-hand touch. He wanted to play tackle because he wants to run people over and he likes the contact.
Johnson, 5 carries now for 39 yards. The Eagles continue to let the clock wind. 9:30 to play in the fourth. 17-7, Eagles lead. 2nd and 5, Carson-Newman, left hash at its own 42. Evans takes, gives on the dive, right side, Toot Johnson. Toot Johnson along the right hashes, heading across the 20 and 10. Toot Johnson takes it the distance. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. A little toot scootin' boogie for 6. And the Eagles are up 23-7 with 9:16 to play in the fourth quarter.
We finally get to see the track star show off his fast and furious style. He's a hard runner, great speed, but finally this offense able to get a huge rush. Great blocking up front. Johnson hits the hole hard, a big burst. Nobody's going to catch him, and that is what the Eagles offense really needed.
Toot Johnson, 58 yards to the house, and it's a 5th straight week for Carson-Newman where they've had a rush of at least 50 yards. Caden Patterson on for a PAT to make it a 17-point game, and Patterson pokes it through the uprights. 24-7, Carson-Newman leads with 9:16 to play in the fourth quarter, and the Eagles get a momentum boost in a big way. The dive breaks free for 58 yards to set off some pyrotechnics in Berktar Stadium. 4-play, 74-yard possession in 2 minutes, 1 second. Not quite the clock-milking drive that you would have expected there, but hey, when you score from 58 yards out, who cares?
Trevor McCarriff got 2 big blocks. One on a combo block with a right tackle, Dylan Wilson, and then just textbook. You get the combo block at the line of scrimmage. You wait for the linebacker to come across. Kendrick Hicks was the one that came over the top. McCarriff breaks off of the combination, gets to the next level, able to get that block, and then it's all Toot Johnson with the speed to be able to split the seam and get down the hash marks and into the end zone for a touchdown. And now Carson-Newman's offense, who rushing the football hasn't been great, now up about 152 and closing in on 300 yards of total offense for the game.
210 yards on the ground to be exact for the Eagles, 98 of those from Toot Johnson to be specific. 9:16 to play in the fourth. 24-7, Carson-Newman the lead. And Patterson kicks off to Simmons, who receives this in the boundary right side at the 12. Simmons straight ahead is walloped at the 25-yard line. Jason Cook Calhoun bringing the lumber to the party at Mossy Creek.
Cook Calhoun is a phenomenal athlete, 6'2", 210. He's one of those guys that you look for at the D1 level, just pure athleticism that can come off the edge, but you see his ability to get down the field, one of the faster guys on the defense as well, and he laid the jackhammer there.
9:11 to play, fourth quarter, 24-7 Eagles lead. Crocker's in the gun with 5 wide on 1st and 10 from his own 25-yard line. All white look for the Bulldogs with navy blue helmets moving left to right toward the K-Sack, but down by 17. Crocker takes the shotgun snap at the waist. Pressure comes up the middle, evades it rolling left. Crocker looking, pumping, hit as he throws, and he completes a pass to Brooks in space. Brooks for first down yardage on a crossing pattern across the 35, upended by Henderson, up at the 41. A fortuitous 16-yard gain on a playground play for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Wingate there, it's just so much time, and all Brooks does is flip-flop. He goes from left to right, back to right to left, able to make himself available in an easy pitch and catch after the hit.
Trips go to the wide side right for the Bulldogs. Low man short side left on 1st and 10. Screen left side. McNeil loads a space. McNeil first down yardage across the midfield stripe and forced out of bounds by Houston in Carson-Newman territory down at the 42-yard line. 17 yards to Dom McNeil on the screen pass. He's got 3 catches for 37 yards now.
Just gets lost in the mix. Nobody for the Eagles defense is able to get out there, and this is a good drive going here for Wingate.
1st and 10 Bulldogs, left hash at the Eagle 42. 8:25 to play, fourth quarter. 24-7 Eagles lead. Trips to the wide side right. Lone man short side left, Brooks. Crocker in the gun, McNeil off of his left hip. Snap back at the waist for Crocker. Pressured up the middle, throws over the middle. That is complete to Mitchell, who's stood up at the 20-yard line and wrenched down by Antonio Henderson. Henderson and Mitchell getting into it after the play after Mitchell stood over the top of him after the completion, but it is a completion down to the 19-yard line for 23 yards and a first down for Wingate.
Mitchell being a little pompous there, and it was just Henderson popping up and just a big, hard tackle. Mitchell kind of pushes him down after the play, and after all the flags we've had, that doesn't garner one. Kind of surprising.
16 penalties for 136 yards for Carson-Newman, 4 penalties for 50 yards for Wingate. And Jaquan Smith shaken up on the play. He's sitting down on the near sideline and being tended to by Mike Van Bruggen and the rest of the Carson-Newman sports medicine staff. Bulldogs a nice possession here. They've had a quality second-half effort, quality really fourth-quarter effort offensively after 7 consecutive possessions where they either threw a pick or went 3 and out. 2 picks, 5 3-and-outs from the second quarter to the third quarter. Smith helped up off the turf, and Mike Van Bruggen will walk him over to what we're calling the injury tent. Makes it a little difficult to see what's being worked on, but Leanda Carey will try to get us a word on that. 1st and 10 Bulldogs, equidistant between the hashes from the Carson-Newman 19. Snap back. Crocker hands off McNeil right side. He's got a seam across the 10. McNeil lowers his shoulders, gets down to the 5 where Houston and Farrell finish him off, and Desmond Farrell is hurt on this play. So 2 high-level defensive backs, Smith and Farrell, hurt on consecutive plays for Carson-Newman. It's a 14-yard gain down to the 5 for McNeil on the ground. Long rush of the day for Wingate. 24-7 Eagles lead with 7:47 to play in the 4th. And Farrell will be tended to. The replay shown on the Jumbotron, and can't quite tell where Farrell got hit, but somewhere around the neck and head. He was prone on the ground as soon as the play finished and being looked at by Carson-Newman sports medicine staff. So we're going to step aside for a break and be back after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union makes banking easier than ever. Stop by the Jefferson City branch at traffic light number 1 by Lowe's or any of 3 convenient Morristown locations. The new Morristown South branch, located at exit 8 just off I-81, offers extended hours and is open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, visit tvacreditunion.com. Join us and go upward and forward. By NCUA.
Carson-Newman Eagle football has been playing football since the 1880s. Well, Vaughn Pharmacy hadn't been around that long, but they're both great East Tennessee institutions. Vaughn Pharmacy is proud to support Carson-Newman Eagle football. Dwight Disney and his staff do an excellent job making sure you and your family get the medicines you need. Hi, this is Bob Bell. They've always taken care of us. They'll take care of you. Vaughn Pharmacy, across the road from Powell High School to the heart.
AM 620, WRJZ Knoxville.
Shaw Crocker blitzed up the middle by Alonzo Houston, and he throws an incompletion to Bledsoe along the left side of the end zone on 1st and goal from the 5. That brings up 2nd and goal for the Bulldogs, down 24-7 to the Eagles with 7:28 to play in the 4th quarter.
Double A gap blitz for the Eagles, and the center has to pick one or the other, and he picks Coates, and Houston able to get into the backfield.
I formation for the Bulldogs, handoff straight ahead McNeil. McNeil pings his way with a spin to the 2, lurches down to the 1 before he's kept out of the end zone by Zach Talley. McNeil extended his arms but couldn't cross the plane. He gains 4 to bring up 3rd and goal from the 1. Eagles swap Jordan Price for Mario Mezier. Provide some beef. 3rd and goal from the 1. I formation. Crocker takes the snap, hands off McNeil right side. He plows into the end zone and gets blown up for his troubles, but scores the touchdown. Bulldogs are back on the board and down 24-13 with 6:58 to play in the 4th quarter.
Some conversation after the play, Coates and McNeil, but it goes in for a touchdown. Now the situation might warrant, and I think Coach Reich might think about this with only 2 timeouts left. Do you try an onside kick? Do you feel confident enough in your defense to get a stop? You might not quite be in that stage yet, but down by 10, assuming they make this, Not a lot of time left.
Robertson's point after attempt is perfect, and it is a 24-14 lead for the Eagles with 6:58 to play in the fourth quarter. Morris Coates absolutely waylaying McNeil after he got into the end zone. But Carson-Newman in charge right now by 10, 24-14. But again, you need something out of the offense in this scenario.
You do. I mean, 6:58 left in the game. It's not a ton of time, but Wingate's been able to use some of these drives. I mean, that drive was 7 plays, 75 yards, and 213 for a touchdown. I mean, granted, as a defense, you're being a little lighter. You're not necessarily being as aggressive, but still you're giving up some of those big yardage plays, averaging 7 yards a pop on that drive. And there's still plenty of time left for Wingate as the offense has really started to find its stride. It's just whether or not Carson-Newman's offense can hold on to the football, string together a couple first downs. If they can't score, flip field position and make things difficult on Wingate to try to go down the field and what they hope to be about the 4-minute mark, try to score twice in the final 4 minutes.
And that is part of it too. If you're Carson-Newman, just keep the ball. You don't necessarily have to score, but if you can turn time against Wingate, you've won. And that's kind of a big note as well for Carson-Newman with Wingate with 115 yards of total offense this quarter, more than doubling up their output from the previous 3 quarters combined. Wingate's got more first downs than Carson-Newman, but a lot of mistakes early haunting the Bulldogs. A lot of mistakes, though, for the Eagles, too. This could have easily been a 35-0 type game midway through the third quarter.
Absolutely, and I mean, the penalties that took 3 touchdowns off the board, in essence 2, because it was back-to-back plays where touchdowns were taken off the board, but certainly some miscues in that regard for the Eagles. But, I mean, if you're Wingate right now, you have played a dreadful football game. I mean, your quarterbacks are combined 13 of 31 in the game. And, I mean, in college football these days, if you throw the ball 30-plus times and you complete less than 50% of your passes, plus you throw 2 picks, you're more than likely not even this close in the game. So if you're Wingate, you're looking at your defense and saying, hey, you've done a great job for the most part all day long. You come up with 1 stop, we're right in this game. Now it's the offense. Can they keep the ball rolling with Carson-Newman's defense on its heels?
6:58 to play in the fourth quarter, a 24-14 lead for Carson-Newman over Wingate. Arterbridge and Williams deep to receive this kick from McLean Robertson. Arterbridge, a nice 30-yard return last time the Bulldogs kicked it to him. We'll see what he brings to the table on this possession. Wingate has outscored Carson-Newman 14-7 here in the fourth quarter. Eagles looking to counterpunch with this ensuing drive. Kick comes down to Arterbridge, 2 yards deep on the left side, heads across the 15 and 20, runs into a pile of bodies, and has his progress halted at the 21-yard line by Antonio Bowie. So a 21-yard return for Ray Arterbridge, and it's 1st and 10 Eagles from their own 21 with 6:53 to play in the fourth quarter.
Better kick coverage that time. Basically the same exact kickoff, a couple yards deep, and Arterbridge took it out. Last time he got it all the way out to the 30. This time just the 21-yard line. And let's see what Carson-Newman does. They've thrown the ball a little more frequently on the last couple drives to get some things going, some drive starters on hitches. And let's see if they do anything here.
Johnson and Wimbush, the split backs, behind Evans. It's a quarterback sneak for Derek Evans. He surges his way forward up to the 26-yard line, riding behind Jordan Seal. A 5-yard tote for Derek Evans on the unexpected quarterback sneak, 2nd and 5.
Well, they got out there with 6 seconds on the play clock. They snapped that as it was going to 0.
2nd and 5. Eagles go with a tight end, McCarroll right, a wide out each way. Johnson and Wimbush, the split backs, behind Evans. He takes, pitch, right side, Wimbush. Wimbush with blockers from Johnson. Stop and start move, gets first down yardage across the 30, heading to the right sideline and forced down by Joe Kelly up at the 33-yard line. Nice little toss sweep for the Eagles to Antonio Wimbush with a cadre of lead blockers to pick up 7 and a first down.
Unfortunate, too, for the Eagles because Wimbush stopped, as Toot Johnson was getting a pancake block. If he continues with that run, he probably gets 15, 20, maybe more. Instead, had to settle for just 7.
1st and 10 Eagles right hash at their own 34-yard line, so 8 officially on the game. Evans takes, dive right of center for Johnson. He hurdles a pile and gets up to the 36-yard line. 2 yards for Toot. Brought down by Hicks at 2nd and 8.
That's triple digits now for Toot. First time in his career to get over the 100-yard threshold on just 7 carries. So you're starting to see him last week and now this week with Sharon Jackson coming into the game. When it comes down to crunch time, the 3 running backs CN's going to use is Wimbush, Jackson, and Johnson.
24-14 Eagles lead, 5:34 to play in the 4th quarter. Evans under center, split backs. Johnson and Jackson. Evans takes, gives, dive, left of center for Sharon Jackson. Not much there for him. He gets up to the 37-yard line, and that's it. Ran into Robbie Wallace and Cam Madison. Gain of 1 up to the 37, and it's 3rd down and 7 to go. 5:10 on the clock, rolling in the 4th quarter. Eagles up 24-14 in the possession that is now coming up on the 2-minute mark. A lengthy 3rd and 7. Eagles just 3 for 12 on 3rd downs today.
Well, here's the decision you have to make if you're Mike Turner. Do you want the first down enough to put the ball in the air, or are you willing to concede the first down to be able to take another 40 seconds off the clock?
3rd and 7 for the Eagles. Ball toward the right hash at Carson-Newman's own 37-yard line. Evans takes, rolls the pocket left, steps up, evades men, now rolling out to the right. Evans looking for a block from McCarriv. He gets it, gets the corner, hustling up to the 45-yard line where he steps out of bounds with first down yardage, forced out by Price. 8 yards when he needed 7. 1st and 10 Eagles. What a move by Derek Evans on a broken play.
And I'll tell you, Trevor McCarriv has had some penalties in this game and some infractions, but he's put together a phenomenal game. His block on the outside, only his left arm to get a knockdown block on the outside, phenomenal, that springs Evans and potentially gives the Eagles a chance to put this game on ice.
Eagles up by 10 with 4:20 to play in the 4th quarter. 24-14, Eagles lead. Wimbush and Johnson, the split backs behind Evans. Tight end McCarriv in motion. Trapped to the left side, Johnson. Johnson powering his way across midfield. Down into Wingate territory at the 48-yard line between the hashes. Hello, Toot Johnson. 8 yards before Madison rings him down, 2nd and 2. And a Wingate Bulldog shaken up on the play. 3:54 to play in the 4th quarter. 24-14 Eagles lead.
Looks like it's Cameron Madison that's down for Wingate as he came in there to join the fray. They're late, but you know, if you're Carson-Newman in this game, it's a 3rd straight week where you walk away thinking to yourself, wow, we did not play a very clean and solid 60 minutes of football. But you're going to walk away with it, assuming nothing catastrophic happens, with a victory in a home opener, in a night game on a Saturday night. And you're going to think to yourself, now you got 2 more road games here in this tough gauntlet to start the year. How do you start to correct some of these issues piece by piece, but still feeling good about yourselves that despite the fact that you have 136 penalty yards, you're still putting up nearly 400 yards of offense?
And this has been some weird feelings surrounding these football games these past 3 weeks where the potential, the ceiling feels so high, and yet Carson-Newman seems to be walking with a shotgun taped to its leg, and the trigger happens to pull with every 4th step. We'll see if the Eagles can salt this one in the way, though. 3:54 to play in the 4th. 24-14, Carson-Newman the lead. They've got 2nd and 3 from the Bulldog 48-yard line. It's been the Toot Johnson show here, especially late. 7 carries for 105 yards and a score. And he's in the backfield with Antonio Wimbush, who has 15 carries for 73 yards himself. Eagles just content to let the clock burn. Play clock at 20, game clock at 3:33. You don't have to snap this until you're around 3:15 with a 10-point lead in hand, 24-14. Evans brings everybody set with 10 on the play clock, moving right to left in all blue with orange helmets. Evans, man in motion, McCarriv to the left of the line. Evans takes the snap, quarterback sneak, He pushes down to the 46-yard line and is close to first down yardage. Held up by Allen as well as the Bulldogs' Cal Hanford. It's third down and a yard to go for the Eagles from Wingate's 47-yard line. Need about the 45.5.
Wouldn't surprise me if you went back to the same play. Just try to barrel it ahead, maybe a dive to Wimbo as well.
Play clock at 7-6. Evans brings the line set on 3rd and 1. Trap to the left side to Johnson. Powers past a couple defenders and forces his way down to the 45. That should be good enough for the first down. Evans signaling first down. Quentin Phillips signaling first down for Carson-Newman. Still waiting on Todd Boyd. Now he says first down, roll the clock. So the chains move. 2:27 to play in the fourth, 24-14. Eagles looking to salt this one away as fans start to head toward the stairwells.
I think Johnson actually hit Antonio Wimbush the hardest going through that hole. He barreled over his running back.
First and 10 Eagles from the Bulldog 45. A trap to the right side for Wimbush. Wimbush moving inside between the hashes down to the 41-yard line. Picks up 4 yards before Hicks gets his paws on him. A 4-yard gain to bring up 2nd and 6, and Joe Reich will burn one of his 2 remaining timeouts. And while Wingate heads to its sideline to chat things over, we'll head down to the Carson-Newman sideline to pay a visit to Leanda Carey.
Thanks, Adam. Earlier we saw Jaquan Smith and Desmond Farrell injured on consecutive plays. Farrell sat up covering his eyes and was able to walk to under his own power to the injury tent, but bent over on the way, and they immediately sent him to the locker room. They eventually sent Smith there too. Director of Sports Medicine Mike Van Bruggen says both are out for the rest of the 2 minutes of this game, but they have been out for a while. I did just see Desmond Farrell jog back out on the field to watch the remainder of the game. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Leanda Carey. 2:03 to play, fourth quarter, 24-14. Carson-Newman leads Wingate. Eagles have had a dominant effort defensively. They've held Wingate to 256 yards of total offense. The bulk of that for the Bulldogs has come here in the fourth quarter, more than 130 of those yards to be exact. Carson-Newman's offense got the football on this drive 4 minutes and 55 seconds ago. And they've got 2nd and 6 from the left hash at the Wingate 41, up 24-14 on the defending SAC champs. Eagles trying to stop a 6-game losing streak to defending league champions. 2 tight end look for Carson-Newman. Evans takes, trap to the right side, Wimbush. Wimbush trying to pick his way forward, does so across the 40. Gets along the right hashes down to the 39-yard line before Cal Hanford is able to wrench him down. It's third down and 4 to go after the 2-yard pickup for Antonio Wimbush, who was searching for a hole on that rush.
Timeout, Wingate University. There's a third and final timeout.
So Wingate uses its final timeout. With $1:57 to play in the fourth quarter. One more first down for the Eagles, and it's ball game over. If you don't get it, you might still argue that it's 4-down territory here for Carson-Newman, and still, time is now on Carson-Newman's side instead of on Wingate's side. Minute 57 to make up 10 points, pretty tough.
I think unless it is 4th and 1, I think that they're going to punt it if they don't pick up a first down, because you put them down inside their 15, even if it's a below average punt, you're making a team go 80-plus yards to try to score twice, whereas if you give the ball away here, a completion or 2, and you can at least run the field goal unit out there, try to get your field goal first, and then get the onside kick and put yourself in position for a Hail Mary. So it all comes down to how this third down play works out for the Eagles. But I think unless it's a first down or unless it is surefire a yard shy, we'll more than likely see a punt.
Third down and 4 to go for the Eagles. Right hash at the Bulldog 39-yard line. Wimbush and Johnson, the split backs behind Evans, and now Mike Turner wants to talk things over with a timeout. So the Eagles with 1 timeout left.
Timeout, Carson-Newman. There's a first charge timeout of the half.
Turner just saw something once he sent the team out onto the field and may have liked something just a little bit different.
That is our second charge time out of the half.
And wanted to make an adjustment in how they were going to line up for this 3rd down and 4. But Carson-Newman's offensive line really did a nice job making some adjustments here at the end of the ball game. They had made some mistakes early on. They had been a little hit and miss through the first couple weeks of the season, but Carson-Newman's coming out of this tough 3-game stretch to start the year against 3 quality opponents and setting the stage. And as we mentioned at the beginning, if you get a home game against the reigning conference champions as your one home game in your first 5, you have to take care of business if you want to be proven that you're real and be proven that you have a chance to hoist a trophy at the end of the day. So this was a big game for the Eagles to really establish themselves as the class of the SAC through just 1 week of conference play.
3rd down, 4 to go for Carson-Newman. Right hash at the Bulldog 39-yard line. $1:57 to play in the 4th, and the Eagles up 24-14. Evans takes keeper and a pitch left side for Johnson. Loads a running room for Toot Johnson. Across the 20 and 15, a stiff arm, a tight rope, and Johnson heads in for 6. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Toot Johnson, a man's run on a pitch to the left side. Pushing Joe Kelly to the turf and scampering 39 yards to the house. Toot Johnson, beast mode in the second half for the Eagles. 30-14, Carson-Newman leads with $1:47 to play in the 4th.
And that's where Mike Turner saw whatever he saw to use that timeout and was able to dial up the right play. And then Derek Evans, he has run that pitch play so well to begin the year and does so yet again to get it to the outside. And now the margin, if the Eagles defense can close the book, unlike they did last week, the margin's going to feel a lot more the way that the game felt in terms of a 3-score game.
Patterson was true on the PAT. And Carson-Newman extends its lead to 17, 30-14. 31-14, pardon me, with 1:47 to play in the 4th quarter. What a coming out party for Toot Johnson. 9 carries, 146 yards, 2 scores, 16.2 yards per carry. He was the guy when the Eagles got him into the fold on signing day. The coaches perked up. Effingham County's record holder in the 100 and 200 meter dashes out of Florida. But Toot Johnson showcasing some things here today. 9 carries for 146 yards, 2 scores. The Eagles up over 416 yards of total offense with 289 yards rushing.
Look at 5'11", 195. That's not what you expect to see from a freshman running back. And you certainly feel like there's room for maybe another 10 or 15 pounds of muscle without losing a whole lot of speed. And his future is extremely bright for this Carson-Newman team. But you add him now to Antonio Wimbush, we talked about it. If Toot Johnson's going to rush for 125 and Wimbush is only going to rush for the 85 that he has, you still feel really good about that 1-2 punch because this is a stout Wingate defense.
1:47 to play. Caden Patterson kicks off with his team up by 17, and Simmons receives it at the 5. Simmons across the 20 and 25. He stood up and suplexed down back to the 21-yard line. Jason Cook Calhoun again. A spectacular effort on kick coverage.
Yeah, Cook Calhoun, really good day for him, but Carson-Newman has really done the job across the board, and you look at so many different guys for this Eagle defensively that they're able to do just a little bit of everything from a defensive standpoint, and you have to tip your cap because you've had a little bit of shake-ups with some of the defenders going down with injuries.
101 seconds left in this one, and the Eagles up 31-14 on Wingate. Crocker in the gun with McNeil to his right. Trips go to the wide side left, and a lone man to the short side right. Snap back to Crocker. Steps up, rolls right. He's hit. Tosses it as he goes down, and Bembry knocks him down. Bembry a pat to check on Crocker after the fact. As Crocker, good job just getting it out of his hand to avoid the sack from Brian Bembry.
very close, too. He was almost to the ground. And if you're Bembry, you want that sack. You want to be able to chalk that one up. And Crocker's having to adjust his shoulder pad, not getting any help from his teammates. And that's kind of been the story. He hasn't gotten help from his teammates. There's been a lot of drops from his receivers.
That shoulder pad is still extended into the air for this play, 2nd and 10. Crocker back to pass, has time, throws over the middle of the field. That's complete to Brian Mitchell, hauls it in at the 45-yard line before he's brought down by Antonio Henderson up at the 45-yard line. 21 yards through the air for the Bulldogs. 1st and 10 with 87 seconds left.
Well, I want to see if Carson-Newman closes this game out. They didn't do it against Virginia Union last week, allowed the score on the final play of the game.
31-14 Eagles. Minute 17 to play in the 4th quarter. Snap back to Crocker. Blitz comes from the edges. Crocker gets it out of there. A completion to Bledsoe into Carson-Newman territory over the middle of the field, down at the 45-yard line. And Coates wraps him up after the 10-yard gain and another Wingate first down.
Crocker still hasn't fixed his shoulder pad, so maybe he's found a little bit of a different look here that's kind of working for him.
Very avant-garde for Shaw Crocker, the redshirt freshman. Takes the shotgun snap on 1st and 10. Hits it, he throws out to the left side. That's complete to Brooks on a flag route to the left sideline down at the Carson-Newman 26-yard line. Zach Talley forces him down after a 19-yard gain. Something to remember here, Eagles without Jaquan Smith, out without Desmond Farrell for this possession as well. Wingate out of timeouts as the clock winds inside of 60 seconds. Eagles up 31-14. Snap back to Crocker on 1st and 10 from the 27. Crocker over the middle of the field. That is incomplete as Darius Williams went airborne to go for a pick, and he collides mid-flight with Mitchell. It is an incompletion, and 2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs from the Carson-Newman 26.
First incompletion for Crocker since the pad came out. So he's 3 of 4 post-pad situation, 12 of 27 pre-pad situation here. So maybe something to look for in the future weeks.
Leave the pad out. It's a fashion statement. You cover up the number on your right side, so you're a little incognito. People might not know who you are. 2nd and 10. Left hash. The Carson-Newman 27. The snap is over everybody's head and still free on the ground. Crocker will collapse on top of it past Ross Pryor. And that ball all the way back to the 46-yard line. So a loss of 20 on the play will drop Wingate back below 300 yards of total offense.
Crocker just looked to his left when the ball was snapped. So there was a clear miscommunication and mistiming there because Crocker didn't even react for a few seconds.
3rd and 30 for Wingate from the Carson-Newman 46. Crocker out of the gun, back to pass. Looking over the middle of the field, airs it out for Bledsoe. He takes a lick from Morris Coates inside the 25, down to the 21-yard line. Clock should be rolling. It's not a first down. Wind the clock. It should be game over there. The officials on the far side are signaling to wind the clock, and Wingate will spike it. Should be game over. It was 4th and 16. Clock should have run. Or 3rd and 30, pardon me. They gained 26, and it should be game over.
Yeah, that clock should have been at 0, a solid 5 to 10 seconds earlier. Just didn't run. Let's see what the officials decide.
The clock stopped erroneously. It should have been running during the last down. Therefore, that's the end of the ball game.
All right. Officials say ball game over. And Carson-Newman wins 31-14 over the Wingate Bulldogs. Carson-Newman's first win over defending South Atlantic Conference champion since 2012. It wasn't pretty at times, but the Eagles with some style points late to collect a nice 31-14 win over the Bulldogs.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, it's definitely one of those games where you look back and you're like, wow, 16 penalties, 136 penalty yards. Some miscues in terms of taking points off the boards with penalties on plays that resulted in touchdowns. And for Carson-Newman, you come out at the end of the day 31-14, and you really put your finishing touches and a stamp on a victory as the fireworks go off here at Berktar Stadium. But a very nice win for the Eagles. Johnson a coming out party. Derek Evans a solid effort. Carson-Newman will gladly take the dub.
Eagles improved to 2-1 on the year, While Wingate is handed its first loss, dropping to 2-1. Eagles snap a 12-game Bulldog win streak for games played at night. And the Eagles victorious 31-14 behind 289 yards rushing, 46 of those on 9 carries from Toot Johnson. Eagles get the job done at home over the Wingate Bulldogs, 31-14. Domino's postgame reports headed your way when we get back after this on the Eagles Sports Network.
Domino's Pizza in Jefferson City and Morristown wants to help feed your business. When you're hungry at lunch, show your business card at Domino's in Jefferson City and Morristown when you make your purchase for pickup or delivery to get 25% off the entire order. That's 25% off your order at Domino's in Jeff City and Morristown when you show your business card. Call 865-771-6700 to get a pizza. Domino's, the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles.
At InterDigital, we strive to be a leading provider of cutting-edge digital and marketing solutions. At InterDigital, we want to help our clients find success. Our team of technology gurus work together to ensure InterDigital continues to progress forward as technology advances. At InterDigital, we make technology work for you. Visit interdigital.com for IT support, web development, virtual tours, graphic to internet marketing, mobile app, and film production services.
InterDigital, laser focused on your success.
Here's something worth shouting.
From the hilltops to the rooftops, you're a member of an electric cooperative.
That means you have a say
A voice in how your co-op is run.
in what's best for the community.
Power to the people.
For the people. From the people.
Doesn't that sound good?
Learn more about the power of your co-op membership.
At Together We Save.
Member-owned and service-driven. We're AEC, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. The game's over, but we're just getting warmed up. The Domino's postgame report hits the air in 60 seconds on the Eagle Sports Network.
Hey y'all, Jenny here, speaking for Campbell Dental Care in Seymour. Everyone in their office is so helpful and personable. Call Campbell Dental Care and become familiar with my dentist today. 573-3636. That's 573-3636. It's gentle dental care, family dental care, complete dental care. Campbell Dental Care on Chapman Highway in Seymour. Call for an appointment today, 573-3636.
No, the invaders are not from outer space. They're from China. We know them as ladybugs. Fortunately, if you call Dayton's Pest Control today, you can prevent them from entering. Isn't that right, Dayton?
Yeah. Or spray the perimeter of your home to put up a protective barrier that will repel ladybugs, box elder bugs, spiders, and more.
Protect your family. Get a perimeter power treatment from Dayton's Pest Control now. Call Dayton's Pest Control at 588-6686. Let Dayton's advantage be yours.
This is the Domino's postgame report on the Eagle Sports Network. Highlights, stats, a conversation with Mike Turner, and player interviews are all headed your way.
Johnson pressured in the backfield. He's caught and roped down by Phelan Booker.
The Domino's postgame report is brought to you in part by Domino's, the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles. Appalachian Electric Cooperative, your local Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Looking out for you. By the Eagle Club, the family of Eagles. By Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, real Coca-Cola taste with zero sugar and 0 calories. Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, taste the feeling. By the Bible Insurance Agency, the agency that's service-built. By the Carson-Newman Chick-fil-A, Jefferson City eats more chicken. By Lisa's Country Kitchen, the best food for the best prices. By the Kate Insurance Agency, in your future since 1959. By the Tennessee National Guard, a generation of volunteers. And by ShopCNEagles.com, the official online store of the Carson-Newman Eagles. Now back to the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier.
We welcome you back to Berktar Stadium, where Carson-Newman collects a 31-14 victory over the Wingate Bulldogs. Carson-Newman triumphs behind 146 yards and 9 carries, 2 touchdowns from Toot Johnson, the bulk of that coming in the fourth quarter, to get the Eagles their first win over a defending South Atlantic Conference champion since the 2012 season. Eagles beat Lenore-Rhine twice that year, but have lost 6 consecutive games to reigning South Atlantic Conference champions. That ends today against the Wingate Bulldogs. This is the Domino's postgame report. Hey, Eagle fans, Domino's is the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles. When you're hungry, reach for Domino's. Whether you're a student looking for a late-night snack or just out to eat with your coworkers, Domino's has a deal for you. Get a large one-topping pizza for $4.99 with your Carson-Newman ID, or get 25% off your entire order when you bring in your business card at lunch. Domino's, it is the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles. Credit Wingate, they rallied late, made things very intriguing late. 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns for the Bulldogs as Shaw, Crocker, and company got going late. Crocker finishes 16 of 31 for 243 yards with a touchdown. Don McNeil, 20 carries for 79 yards and a score for the Bulldogs as well. Malik Bledsoe, the top target through the air for Wingate, 5 passes for 87 yards, including a 27-yarder that is the second longest play from scrimmage that Carson-Newman has allowed all season. But when it came down to crunch time, the Eagles turned to a freshman in Toot Johnson. The freshman running back, 9 carries for 146 yards and 2 scores. And Toot, a absolute bruising runner,